ahead and bring in our commentary crew. It is none other than James Bott and Jorby. Boys, you're shaking your head. What's that about?
All I got to say is that I thought Gibbs was guessing was just a Gibbs thing, but I see that he's infecting other people.
The problem is that Gibbs was telling us about how he hit his head getting out of the shower.
Oh, that's right.
So he has an excuse to pick Splyce. Dredd has nothing. What are you doing?
I'm the new guy. That's my excuse. I only show up once in a while, you know?
You have an ex-pro on the desk that went Evil Geniuses, and you still went with Gibbs.
I have no respect here. I have two ex-pros.
That was 30 years ago.
To be fair, James wears his EG jersey every single day, so I don't know.
I'm not ashamed to admit I like EG. But Jimmer's coming in as a coach. This is going to be an interesting series, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, obviously, a lot of fans watching just expecting Splyce to fall down. But I think really for Jimmer, something might happen. When you're put on stage in a LAN environment, you might just play above your station a little bit.
Yes,
maybe that happens for Splyce.
Something might happen, Jorby. This is to me, is a nightmare situation. Because if you're Jimmer, you know, you're getting thrown into the grinder.
Yeah.
This is not just Grand Champ matchmaking. This is, you know, top talent in the scene.
Against a team that made LAN almost every single season in the RLCS. And you have Corrupted Gene Classics, longtime RLCS veterans, Drippe, who was over in Oceania for a long time. Evil Geniuses bring him over to America. And really, for Evil Geniuses, while it might be a nightmare situation for Splyce, it's a beautiful situation for Evil Geniuses to play against a team that is not at full strength, and they can really just kind of lick their chops and start to get at this early in the tournament.
You know, and it's just going to be an uphill battle. EG, you know, this is to me a no-win situation for them, because they get the win here, they're like, oh, they have Jimmer. But if they lose, then they'll be like, they beat you with Jimmer, their coach. So this is a really tough situation to be in for EG. They're just going to have to come in and make the most of it.
And again, for Evil Geniuses, a disappointing season in the RLCS, getting relegated. This tournament, it's a proving moment for them. This whole weekend, come out here, you have to beat Splyce. This is the team you're supposed to beat if you're Evil Geniuses, and you have to do that. It starts here. This weekend is a marathon. There are a lot of games that are going to be played that you have to play through, and to have your very first game on stage, no matter who you're playing against, there are a little bit of nerves that come with it.
Absolutely, and again, as the desk pointed out, these are the two teams that got relegated. Turtle says, you know, this could be the starting point of their comeback, but there's a long break between this event and the next season, but this can give you hope. A performance here at DreamHack, if you're EG or Splyce, a solid performance here can give you hope into the offseason and drive you and motivate you to continue that going into the rival series next year. But also, you know, they just want to play, you know, to make a statement here and just get as far as they can in the tournament.
And for Splyce, Jay Wismont and Dude with the Nose, they weren't able to put things together. And in the promotion tournament, Splyce had looked pretty good. Jay Wismont was able to put some things together near the end, but they couldn't end up winning the series they needed to. And right into the first game of the series, it's going to start Dude with the Nose looking for Jimmer, but cut off immediately. And heading back to the side, Evil Geniuses get set up in Splyce territory, up and around. It might just be pure speed. That could beat Splyce playing not at full strength, but the opening seconds, Evil Geniuses from their own half take that shot right into Dude with the Nose and blocked away.
And one of the areas where I'm concerned about for Jimmer is on defense. There's so little room for mistake. If you miss that ball, let it bounce out into the middle. There's no hope. And now quickly on the other end, Drippe leading the attack. He was the leader in scoring for EG in RLCS. He keeps it up here off the pass from Corrupted G.
Yeah, Nose Dude in midfield. Just wasn't the best first touch from him, and there was no follow-up coming as both members of Splyce were rotating back on it. And again, for Dude with the Nose, he's got to play like a player and a half with their current situation, and touches like that with no follow-up coming will be tough for them to come back from.
Jimmer did win that 50-50 there. Be interesting to see what role he takes.
And interesting to see how much maybe rotations get cut or rotations get, you know, sliced in half. That one blocked away. Still just keeping it in play, buying some time here for Splyce. Classics up, took that one away. And a quick pass out, Splyce at least keeping the ball away out to the corner. And double commit by Evil Geniuses in midfield.
And And, you know, double commits were something that we really saw plague them in the promotion tournament. Making its head shown there.
Jimmer able to move it back out towards the box. Splyce also not without their mistakes, especially on the defensive half of the field. Double commits, whiffs, that shot blocked by dude with the nose. Knocked out to the side, so Splyce able to keep the scoreline 0-1, but they're really only able to get one threatening shot out, and it was blocked away. 2 minutes of game number 1 out. Corrupted G under that one. Evil Genius is trying to rush the attack against Splyce on this one, teeing it out.
And we're seeing Splyce stuck in their own net, just trying to get out, finally breaking out of this zone. We'll see if they can get on an extended attack, but so far it's just been all EG shooting over and over.
Now Jimmer in a good spot in the attacking third to take it around the corner. And so far, it hasn't been anything crazy, but Jimmer has made touches when he's been called to so far in the first half, but plenty of Rocket League to be played. Splyce, regardless of whether he's been able to make the touch or not, here he is now. Off to the side and wasn't able to get it there, and now Evil Geniuses. Well, a good challenge from dude with the nose. Jay Wismont tries to keep it going, but losing the challenge, giving Evil Geniuses the ball, forces nose dude up to make the save. And a quick pass out again, turned away. Jay Wismont getting in the way, so Splyce has been absolutely pretty on defense. That one off, and Jay Wismont gets back in time. Let's knock it away.
And you even saw there a difficult situation. Jimmer wasn't able to make that read, but his teammate bailed him out. However, Jimmer has been playing relatively solidly. You see here Splyce only down by 1, keeping EG at a single goal. They can easily get one with a counterattack here, tie it up.
The pass over to Jay Wismont. I feel like if it does come, it'll be between those two. Jimmer plays it high out to the side to Jay Wiz. Jay Wiz just off looking for Jimmer, and his shot is blocked. So Jimmer ready for the pass from Jay Wismont, and Splyce, while they can't find the back of the net, they've kept things clean otherwise. Here comes Jay Wiz looking. Jimmer's hunting for someone on Evil Geniuses, trying to open up a course through the net, and they talked about it on the desk as well. Maybe bumps, demos, stealing, boost can be where Jimmer's most effective, but he's also been solid in the rotation in midfield.
He has been doing his part. He has not been an incredible liability. You see him even making a stop there. He has been a little slow to the ball. You see him not able to get up and really contest a lot of the challenges, but he's doing enough, and now a chance to tie it up. A narrow miss from Jay Wismont.
And how did he get that? How did he got that touch a little closer? That's one Splyce definitely needed with less than a minute left. They boomed this one away. Corrupted G up for that. He's not going to grab it as Drippe takes control from his own corner. Back to Classics, and again challenged and knocked away. Jimmer on the point. Past the dude with the nose. Shot just wide of the post. Splyce starting to put together some offense. Drippe catches it on the transition, and it comes clean off the backboard. EG slow to the ball. And what could have been a second goal and what would have really shored up game number 1 still turns into a chance for Splyce the other way.
And that was a chance for EG had they expected the miss from Nose Dude, but they gave him respect. Weren't able to clean up, but now final chance for Splyce.
Knocked down in front of the box. Jimmer pops this one up. Over to the corner. Classics keeps it in the air, and Evil Geniuses will take game number 1.
And it was not a commanding win, but a win nonetheless. EG getting it off that sole goal early from Drippe, but Jimmer for Splyce, keeping this one close, coming in, doing what he had to do. You know, so far he's living up to what, I mean, maybe even surpassing expectations at this point, keeping that one within reach for them. There was a chance even off a pass from Jimmer to where they could have even tied it up.
And the only goal scored right here, Drippe, just a tee up, and you thought maybe it was just a helping of what you were going to get more of in game number 1. But after that, dude with the nose, a great save right there. But I think that for me, the moment where it really fell apart for Splyce was that double tap that Jay Wismont had missed. He hits that, and we have a tie game, and who knows what happens after that, as Splyce weren't really giving up anything crazy.
Yeah, they had a couple chances. I mean, they had a couple chances where their shots were just wide or just off. Obviously, the Jay Wismont double tap, one of them. But Splyce could have easily put a couple by EG and made that even more of a contested game. But EG, you know, they're hungry to put Splyce away. They know, or they come in and expect that they're going to come in 3-0, 4-0, just shut them out.
And now you only win game 1 by 1. So for Evil Geniuses, what do you have to do in game number 2 going into this now that you couldn't get a multi-goal win? You didn't blow them out 4-5-0. And are you starting to be scared a little bit, or are you still real comfortable? Splyce weren't able to put together a lot of offense, but either way.
You know, if I'm EG, I just might even just keep blasting it off the backboard. Wait till it's Jimmer's turn to have to go up and make the stop, and then play the miss.
Well, just off the backboard, they're going to start just like that, but it's blocked up high. And Dude with the nose has the follow-up one. Jimmer can't get back there in time, and it's knocked away to the corner. Evil Geniuses off the kickoff, set up that first attack off the ceiling. Jimmer, a slight pass to Dude with the nose.
Now a double commit on the shot, but it doesn't matter. Corrupted G slamming this one home.
Doesn't matter as long as the touch is solid. Classics, the first one there in midfield, and Corrupted G just puts a nice shot out just wide of Jay Wismont. Wasn't able to get there in time. Good placement. And again, another early goal for Evil Geniuses.
That was an incredibly powerful shot by Corrupted G.
Classics off the backboard. The Splyce right in front, but no one able to follow it up quickly. And Dude with the nose over to the side looking for J-Wiz, and it's blocked by Classics. Jimmer on the rotation. Off to the side, has one touch. Does he have a second? No. Right into Corrupted G. Dude with the nose blocked as well. Evil Geniuses able to thwart one attack by Splyce. But Splyce do retain possession. Jay Wismont and Dude with the nose combining there in the corner. Trying to make some headway still. Jay Wismont also picking up the boost in the corner. Evil Geniuses struggling to get out. Corrupted G does get it back to midfield, but the pass downfield to Jimmer, his shot just wide, and Classics has the save anyway.
But I'm liking what I'm seeing from Jimmer getting involved. He's not playing timid. He's going after the attack, and J-Wiz knows, dude, they're both giving him chances to get involved, and he's taking them.
Yeah, and fitting right in the rotation. You're not seeing a lot of cut rotations, what you might expect from someone who is of lower rank playing in a match like this, but it goes to show you the respect that Jimmer's teammates have for him. Out to the corner for Evil Geniuses, still only able to put one goal on the board. And it's been tough. James, you said you wanted to see the backboard tested, and they've tested it a couple of times. They haven't really gotten a lot of opportunities from it. Drippe over the corner. Classics keeps it in play. Corrupted G up. Dude with the nose right in front of him. Drippe coming up for the touch, and it's blocked away. Dangerous, and knocked away again by Jay Wismont, who gets back up to it across the backboard. And Evil Genius is forced to reset again from their own corner. Splyce. Felt like they've had possession for the last minute or so. Besides that one attempted attack by Evil Geniuses. Classics slowing it down. Drippe also patient here in the sidewall. How does he attack?
And you can just see how much time and space EG's able to get at times versus the Splyce squad. They are becoming a little defensive right now. Perhaps looking to make that counterattack happen.
And they're finding each other even in the attacking half of the field. These passes are connecting pretty cleanly. The challenge is pretty slow as well, but Jimmer has a shot and it's saved by Classics. The demo on the backside, and Evil Geniuses find the gap. They clear it back to the corner. It's cut off by Corrupted G. Quick pass, double commit by Splyce. Could be a goal for Classics, and it is. Evil Geniuses and insurance.
You called it, Jorby. As soon as that double commit happened, Jimmer, the last player back, you see him throwing it in reverse. It was a decent idea there. He just needed to jump a little quicker to try to block that shooting lane, but a tough situation to be in regardless. And EG extend their lead.
Safe to say, Splyce have probably put on a better performance than a lot of people would have given them credit for heading into this matchup. But still just a little too much, James. You had mentioned it, the space that Evil Geniuses have really given them so much time to think about how they move down the field and really win a lot of these challenges. That pass and shot blocked this time by Dude with the nose. Corrupted G turning, he gets back onto it. And the pass blocked by Classics. Dude with the nose just up off the backboard, and it's knocked away again. Some close calls for Evil Geniuses, but otherwise the shutout remains intact. Around the corner. I'll do with the nose, throws this one out. They haven't had a lot of chances, and maybe it's a fear that Evil Geniuses will beat them if Jay Wismont or Do with the Nose aren't back on defense.
Absolutely. Having Jimmer last back is something that Splyce wants to avoid. They want to allow him to go up and challenge the ball when he can, because, you know, EG, they're looking to put those hard hits off the backboard or off the sidewall and get Jimmer to overcommit. Now a chance, 1v2, and a good save by Jay Wiz.
Answers the call this time, 25 seconds, excuse me, for Splyce to score 2. And Evil Geniuses have really shut this down. It has been locked down. You don't have to try too hard or too much. You don't have to get too crafty. Classics picking up a 3rd goal, and that will probably do it here in game number 2.
Jimmer attempting, you can see there, that's where the lack of confidence or execution potentially comes into play there. You can see smiles on the faces of the Splyce squad. Jimmer knows that he mucked that one up a little bit, but he has been, you know, I think overall so far, Jimmer has come in and done as good as you can hope in the nightmare situation that he was placed in.
It definitely hasn't been as hopeless as may have previously thought, but Evil Geniuses, a comfortable lead and a comfortable game number 2 win. And Splyce, they had a couple of chances, close ones off the backboard and off the crossbar, and even a shot that bounced right off the post for Splyce. There's been a couple of opportunities, but the issue has been, again, speed and space for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. There's just too much space for EG to work with. They can take their time on the attacks. They're not really threatened that much on the offense. They're going to still have to keep an eye out for the Splyce counterattacks. We did see a couple opportunities come up. One of them was a Jimmer pass over to Jay Wismont, who was upfield, but that was quickly shut down by Classics. But we've seen the passing ability is still there. The counterattacking ability is still there. So EG, they can't let up just yet. They still have to keep their foot to the gas and keep the pressure on Splyce. Do not give them any room to breathe and try to force out more of those mistakes. We saw it happen in the last game.
Right here. That double commit killed them. Jimmer wasn't in position to be able to make the save. Still coming back on the opposite side, and then this clear out.
And I mean, if it was on the other end, this would have been a brilliant pass. But Jimmer, of course, he is not on EG. No. And accidentally passed that out into the middle.
And there were a couple of times where Jimmer actually put a couple of shots on himself off of passes from Jay Wismont or Dude with the Nose. So Splyce, they're still able to put team plays together, and I think that really is the biggest thing for them. If you can get all 3 players involved, even if it is a little bit slower and not as tight as you would like, the fact that you can still do that has to give you some semblance of confidence. You see the smiles and the laughs earlier from Splyce. You know, they know the situation that they're in. They're making the most of it.
Absolutely. And immediately off the kickoff, Drippe putting another one by Splyce just 9 seconds in.
And winning a kickoff cleanly again. This one comes off the backboard cleanly for Drippe to pick up, and that bouncer off the crossbar, it'll be hard to pick that up immediately for anyone on Splyce. 9 seconds this time for Evil Geniuses. But their kickoff has been solid in this series. They've scored a lot on it. Jay Wiz can't find the challenge, and he's over both Jay Wiz and Jimmer.
And now a double commit there. Jimmer hopping on that one. Nose Dude was in position for the save. Right now, Splyce just looking to avoid the shutout sweep.
Up high for a corrupted G, but is knocked away this time by Jimmer. This time midfield belongs to Splyce. Jimmer up for that, out. Couldn't connect on the pass. Coming in, Jay Wiz. Again, challenged, and it's knocked away. When you look at Dude with the Nose and Jay Wismont, the 2 players you have to expect to carry in this matchup. They haven't been consistent at winning some of these challenges.
And maybe a new strategy coming out from Splyce. We see Jimmer getting aggressive. The first demo that I've really noticed, I think it might be the first one of the series. And Jimmer was taking out Classics.
That one out. Maybe the only thing they can try to do that's left to really put a nail in this EG offense, but it's going to be tough. Corrupted G out to the corner. Boomed away by Splyce. Early goal for EG, and then Evil Geniuses have sat on that 1-goal lead for a while before scoring again, even in the second game where they eventually scored 3.
And the person that Jimmer was replacing, or is replacing, is Karma. And Karma, if you watch the promotion series, she did so much of the work on offense for Splyce. Yes. Solo goals, incredible plays. So not having her here is an incredible blow to this squad.
And Evil Geniuses, it's really been as good as you could have asked from a squad playing against a team like Splyce down their leader. And they score another one here, but I mean, they're just playing as safe as they can. They don't want to make any stupid mistakes that could cost them a goal. They pick up another one here.
And a fantastic pass from Corrupted G, regardless of who's on the field. Corrupted G getting to that ball on the wall, and then just setting that one up perfectly for Classics to come in and finish off. So EG will use this to get some momentum going into their next series. Their goal today is finish top 4 in their group.
Get to day
move
2.
on to day 2.
It's the only thing on these 3 players' minds. And it will be their first win if they can hang on to this lead for the next half game of Rocket League.
And again, I'm going to have to, wonder, are we going to send the medical team to check out Gibbs' head to make sure it's okay after he hit it, pick Splyce in this matchup?
We also have to give Dreadnought a medical checkup because Gibbs may have infected him with his blood.
I think it's more that Gibbs, he's an influential guy.
Right.
Dreads just went with Gibbs, which
just
was
looking up to Gibbs.
was a dire mistake.
Don't ever listen to Gibbs.
Gibbs is guessing. Hasn't he been paying attention?
Always. They made a chant after it. Come on. Around the corner. Evil Geniuses keeping that in Splyce territory. And, Drippe, guy came from Australia, a team that made LAN almost every season. It seemed a short bet.
They're here. His old team is here this weekend.
And it seemed a short bet.
Now we see the drought ending for Splyce.
Finally getting a goal. Dude with the nose picks off in the attacking third. Classics had to pinch it across Jay Wismont, and both Evil Genius members pulled up on it. Dude with the nose takes advantage.
An excellent job by Nose Dude. And Splyce realistically could come back in this one. I was counting him out, but now life coming out of the Splyce squad.
In a minute 30 left to tie it up. Jay Wismont off the ramp. Finds a demo on his way back to the ball. Jimmer on the challenge. Not gonna do much for Splyce as it goes the other way to the corner. Nose Dude has one touch onto it. Jay Wismont gonna move it down the field. All of a sudden, the pace is
picking up.
Slowly picking up here. The challenge in front of the box, up is Jimmer. But Corrupted G there first to the ball in Classics. Back over, Drippe got bumped out of the way. Ball loose in midfield, up for it is Jimmer. Challenge though, Drippe just trying to keep it away from Splyce. The pass out. Dude with the nose there again, less than a minute left for Splyce. That shot just off the crossbar and played away by Jay Wiz.
A close call. And now EG starting to pick up the pace. However, Splyce, they can smell blood in the water. Moving in to force overtime. That's their goal.
Classics. He cuts this one off, wasting some more time off the clock. Up quickly is Dude with the nose. Both members of Splyce moving up on the challenge. There's Drippe. High in the air, plenty of time to come back to it, but finding his way through off the post and keeping it in play. Jay Wiz sends it across. Nose Dude has it in midfield. Drippe, though, the only man back to take it. Back over to Classics. And 2 members of Splyce are up to get it out to the corner. 10 seconds for Splyce to find that second goal. Evil Geniuses just need to hang on to this lead as Splyce trying to move downfield. And another boomer may do it. Nose Dude booms it away to the corner. Drippe has it against the back wall. Corrupted G has it still up high. And as long as we can keep the ball up, it may happen for Splyce. Nose Dude to Jay Wiz and double commit just off the crossbar. Jimmer's up for this. Looking, does Dude? No, he doesn't have it. Evil Geniuses win it in an unexpected, thrilling ending.
An exciting end to the final game. Jimmer in position to potentially put in that tying goal. Opting for the pass, whether it was intentional or not, we'll have to ask him. But Splyce, they finished 2 of the games just 1 goal behind. Jimmer, he's going to point back at the series and be like, hey, you remember when I was on main stage and almost was able to take out EG? That's how the story's going to get told.
Yeah, and you know,
2 1-goal games.
More
not
credit
bad.
to you. All the credit to you, Jimmer. The first game you have to play today, you have to do it on stage, and then you put on a performance like that. I mean, it really just exceeded expectation, and great job by the Splyce boys to try to put it together. We got more action for you coming up soon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the desk after the break.
Welcome back here to DreamHack Pro Circuit here live from DreamHack Dallas, where we just ended up witnessing EG taking on the victory versus Splyce. And guys, felt like Splyce, considering that they are not playing with the full roster here today, had a bit of a better performance than I think most of us expected.
Yeah, they only put one goal home, but on the defensive side, they held EG down, which was a good thing to see because two of those games are one-goal games. They could have went differently.
Right, and I'm surprised. Honestly, I thought EG might have been a little bit overconfident more in the series, but they stayed pretty calm most of all. They started out a little bit shaky, a little bit of double commits, but they kind of caught themselves later. And Jimmer almost got a little bit of a last-second goal there.
That would have been nice.
I was getting kind of hyped.
Yeah, that would have been super cool to be able to see that for Jimmer. But I got to ask, with that, maybe the patience that you're arguing was displayed on the side of EG, would that be a good or a bad thing from your perspective? Because when I hear that at first glance on, knowing that it's the starting off the day, maybe a weaker roster and the fact that they're adjusting, I go, we're going to dominate this and set the tone for DreamHack.
I mean, I definitely think it's a safer bet for them to go more of a patient route. They can kind of analyze what's going on because they were probably a little bit shaky. They didn't know 100% of how the other team was actually going to play, especially with Jimmer.
Yeah.
A little bit, I guess inconsistent. But overall, I thought they played a smart game.
And that's the thing, right? There's no game plan for bringing in a sub that, is not at the level of all these other players.
Yeah.
So for Splyce, there's a game plan issue there. But on the same point for EG, what do you expect, right? So play safe and just see what they bring to you. And they didn't bring much, so EG didn't have to change anything up.
And so is there anything maybe going forward based on the results that we got out of EG that we maybe want to see them adjust already? Or are we so far so good here with what we got out of that?
My one concern is when they had a lot of time, they didn't make the most of it. They didn't get any great passing plays going. So I'm a little concerned about that. But I think that could have just been being very passive because they knew they had that chance.
Yeah, I think it was just, honestly, probably the perfect scenario for them for the first game of the day, just to kind of get it easily over with a warm-up. You know, they're not going against a full roster yet, so it's a great way to start off the day and get ready to play.
And here, taking a glance at some of the hype plays that happened there over the last round.
Man, I was really hoping for Jimmer to put one home, though, because I wanted him on these top 3 plays, but Splyce's only goal there is number 3. But it just turned into that they had some good passing plays later on in the series with EG. Right here was one that Jimmer kind of set up for Classics, but the best part about this was Splyce had a good time about it, right? They knew, hey, Jimmer messed up, but hey, we're here to have fun more than anything because of the circumstances.
As we see there at the very end, Drippe finding a way to put the ball in the back of the net, and that is why we've got him up here with us at the desk. I got to go ahead and ask here, did you, feel like you guys were able to get as much out of that game in that series based on what we said earlier, for yourselves?
Yeah, we were just going out there having a bit of fun, just getting a bit of stage, getting the warm up on stage, so yeah, it was good.
That's good.
One of the best things I've seen throughout the entirety of the Rocket League community is just the entire scene of OC just backing you. They're all saying, pray for Drippe. We want to see him win, throughout this promotion. What is that like for you to have an entire region behind you for this weekend and last weekend?
Yeah, the support's been insane from back in OC. I'm so grateful for everyone supporting me throughout my journey. So, yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, and with the support, I mean, you guys came out today and didn't seem overconfident. And, I mean, why is that? You knew that they weren't having karma, but you just didn't care. You were just coming in calm and collected. Is there, a specific mental leader you have on the team to calm you down, or is it just everyone?
Not really. Everyone just takes part. We were just, make sure we didn't overcommit, and I think it would be fun,
Yeah.
We got a couple OCE representatives here at DreamHack Dallas. Do you feel like a burden to make sure you outperform them or anything of the like, knowing that you've got some of that home turf shedding it up here?
Yeah, it would be nice to outperform them, but we'll see, I guess.
It's super awesome, and be able to hear from you there. And you guys got anything else that you'd like to dive into here?
No, man, just good luck later in the day.
Thanks.
Well, great job there, Drippe, and finding a way to be able to conclude on that first victory here. But we are going to go to a commercial break, and when we do come back, we have ourselves our next series here at DreamHack Dallas. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack Pro Circuit, coming to you live from DreamHack Dallas itself. I am your host, Wade Dreadnought Penfold, where we just came at the conclusion of EG versus Splyce. But with me up here at the desk talking about all the amazing action, of course, we got ourselves a Gibbs and a Turtle.
That first series was fun to watch. Like, even though, like, Splyce, you know, it was a little difficult for them, I like seeing Jimmer out there.
Yeah.
I
mean, he definitely kept it close. I definitely think that they performed a lot better than we expected. He kept the rotations pretty tight. Not too many mistakes. We saw, like, one misplay with a little bit of a pass, but that's expected. And they were able to actually keep it close throughout.
Yeah, we were able to see a rather, I feel like, close match when considering recent results for those teams into the past. And I feel like our next one is no different there. And the fact that it is going to be between Space Station Gaming and TSM. But the fact is that these two going together across the pond here. And the fact that we haven't gotten to see them play.
So these are two teams that are expected to make day number 2, but it's very, like, basically the same exact story, right? Space Station and TSM, they both just barely missed out on the World Championship. And now we get to see that first battle between NA and Europe. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And this is going to be a really tough one because both teams came so close, like you said. So they're very similar with their regionals and their I guess, positioning on the leaderboard. But really, you want to look at Space Station and see how they compete with their playstyles. Because they, honestly, I feel like they're so different in terms of how they play against each other.
And I opened today's show with a bit of discussing the lay of the landscape and how it has been shifting throughout Rocket League. And I feel like, when you say that, a lot of people look at, okay, Dignitas maybe not the beast that it once was. I get it. But I feel like there's a lot of shifts throughout. And one of those rosters has to be that of TSM and their power levels, especially post E-League. And I got to ask you guys, what do you expect from them here today? Because it just feels like it's so hit or miss.
Yeah, it definitely is hit or miss. I felt like after week 2, they're 3-0. Then the DreamHack Dallas qualifiers, they win them, right? So they're here because of that. And then the next day, they go on a 5-game losing streak, and it all started there. And it's just like, I don't know what to expect from them. I felt like Ignite hasn't been doing that well, so the offense isn't there. Then Remco didn't participate nearly at all on the offense throughout the season. He shows up in the playoffs, but then Metanoris is quiet. So it's just very difficult to get a read on this team.
I mean, we just don't know who's going to play well on this TSM roster. It feels like they can't ever mesh on the same day. It's either one player's popping off and everybody else is quiet, or somebody else is. I've never seen them really cohesively all together just band as one team and eliminate.
Yeah, it seems like, you guys often refer to some of the best and brightest of Rocket League as the 3-headed beast, and that they are constantly this 2-headed monster that's revolving on who are those heads representing there to be fierce. And, so I got to ask, if they somehow find that moment to evolve, like, are they going to walk away with something like a championship here at the DreamHack Pro Circuit? Do they have what it takes at their peak?
They definitely have a chance to make day 3 and then make some noise. We saw at Leipzig, we talked to Dignitas on day number 1. The most feared team was TSM, and then they went out on day number 1. So it's like if they find that form, people will be afraid of them. It's just we don't know if we'll see it. It's so difficult.
Yeah, if we see everybody, stepping up together, I definitely think TSM is going to be one of the deadliest teams here compared to everybody else.
So then I want to go ahead and look at the other side then. For the members of Space Station Gaming, who do they have to rely on? Who are they going to be focusing on to really be able to carry out the squad? Because they are still, though they are credible and, a formidable roster, they're still kind of on the newer side of things.
Yeah.
So I think they just need someone to really be that leader on this team and to get over those nerves. I felt like for the regional championships, kind of played a bit nervous versus Cloud9, and then it showed a lot when they played Rogue, because that was a series that they were supposed to win. And everyone, including all the pros, were saying that they were supposed to win.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so important to bring up, is the respect that other teams have for SSG, is that they're so respected by so many top-level teams that it's almost like you have to acknowledge that and respect them as well, because they have players like AXB, who in my personal opinion is going to be the one who's going to shine through this roster and carry the team on their back.
We heard from Gimmick. He said, easy Space Station beats Rogue. It didn't happen.
Yep.
Then even Reynolds last weekend said that they are better than G2, so that they should be in that big 3. But this is the weekend that they have to show it, right? Because they're not going to the World Championship, so they want to have a good Dallas, then a good Valencia to go into that next season.
And, I want to raise this question to both of you, but I want to hear from Turtle first on this one. Is there an element of maybe, Space Station Gaming struggles in games that they're expected to win? That suddenly when the burden is on them and that they are the, not the underdog anymore, maybe they have moments to struggle there.
And I definitely feel like you're completely right, because their playstyle is so effective against faster teams like Cloud9, and I feel like they can control the ball and change the pace like that, and that's why they struggle against a lot of these lower level teams, because the passing that they expect isn't there.
And now we see TSM here, man. They are the E-League champions in 2018 to round out that year. TSM picks them up right after that, and we just haven't seen that same spark from them since Remco finally getting involved on the offensive side throughout the regional championships, but it was a little bit too late for them.
Yeah, he's always winning the award of some of the most dope hair in all of Rocket League. But I want to see him win some more, some kind of accolades or another major tournament there. And a guy who was a huge impact for that victory at E-League, Ignite. The guy, when he's popping off, he's popping off.
We need that offense, man. We need that offense from him. There was twice versus Dignitas in the playoffs that it was 2-goal swings where he just misses out on play, and then Dignitas scores, and that's why they lose that series. And here we see Space Station. They were here at Leipzig. They almost made day 3. They came extremely close. Me and the Chiefs were both rooting for them, but they want to do it again, man. They definitely need it again.
And AXB there, the hero in my eyes. I feel like if they're going to keep it really close and come out with a win, I think AXB is going to be the one who's going to pop off here. And we have other players like even Sathu here. I think he is probably one of notably the best dribblers in the game. The way he can control the ball and the pace is just something that other players can't match.
And then Sypical, man, he was their MVP throughout the season. He started off extremely hot to get Space Station to where they were. They need him to do a lot on the offensive side. Very similar to Ignite, I feel like. We have AXB doing those 1v1 plays to set up shots for Sypical. He's got to hit them.
Yeah, Sypical's got to find a way to be able to perform here at this level, because I can't help but feel like, he, at least to my understanding, was one of those players that was one of those new, almost child prodigy type moments where it's like he's mechanically skilled, very, very gifted and youthful. When we put him finally, with the big boys, what does that end up looking like? And so far, the answer is pretty good, but does that translate over to LAN?
Yeah, we'll have to see. They did well again at Leipzig, so I thought the nerves were gone, but then we saw them again at the regional championship. So I just want to see also for bragging rights between the regions, right? Europe had 5 teams at Leipzig make top 8, and NA only had 3. So this is that first big matchup between these two regions to see who's on top before the World Championship.
And it's just so close. I have no idea who to choose here, honestly. In terms of skill level, I feel like they're just so drastically different with how they play, and the way they approach the ball is so, I guess, different in both regions. I look at both these teams as the people who kind of stand out in the way that they, approach everything.
Well, you talked about with looking at Space Station Gaming that the pacing at which the opponents are playing usually has a pretty big indicator. If they're playing fast ball, that's when you're going to see this roster thrive, right? Does TSM play fast enough ball to be able to meet that kind of parameter we've set for the thriving version of Space Station Gaming?
That's just not how TSM wants to play. They want to slow everything down and make it a very passive defensive play. So Space Station has to try and increase that speed so they're playing at their element. But I feel like with TSM, they are veterans and they know how they want to play. I feel like they will probably control the pace a little bit better. But again, we need to see AXB with those solo dribble plays. When he has space, you have to make something happen, because if you don't, then TSM will be like, all right, we're going to be passive this entire time until you show us that you can beat us.
Yeah, I really don't think Space Station is going to be able to utilize that play style that they use so much against these fast-paced teams. So I think TSM coming in with, like you said, a controlled pace, and they're veterans. They know how to do this. They know how to take the game into their hands. I think it's going to be more of an advantage for them.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you can't help but feel like you understand how Space Station got to the point where their playstyle seems to thrive against some of the fastest players, because when you're a new team, first mentality is you got to take out the big boys, learn to be able to play around that. But then, we're looking at TSM. Do they have the veterancy and the expertise to go, there's not only one way to play Rocket League. It isn't we always have to charge the ball, go as fast as possible, and be professional ball chasers.
But the main problem is, when they play that way lately, they're on a 5-game losing streak, right? So it's not really working out for TSM, and I think that's just because when they have those offensive opportunities, they're not capitalizing at all. So sure, you can play a defensive game, but if you're only putting 1 in the back of the net, very likely the other team's at least putting 1 or 2 back there too.
And if you're more defensive, it's harder to have everybody work together as a team. That's why we see so many players, like we saw Metza come in with huge saves one weekend, but it doesn't seem like they can all connect.
Yeah, and the overperforming there of that weekend coming out from Etzanaris, even though he has been an important, member in this roster, it's interesting to see whether or not he is going to be the one they have to rely on, or if Remco or Ignite are going to be some of those other members here. But as we see, it is TSM versus Space Station Gaming, and I'm going to go ahead and lay it out here, guys. What is your vote? Who, in fact, is going to be the individual to walk away with this?
So it's going to Game 5, I think. This is going to be a very close series. I think Space Station has just enough offensive sparks to get past that TSM defense. And TSM, again, we haven't seen that offense really come alive for a while. So if that happens again, I think Space Station narrowly comes away with the victory here.
I mean, it's going to be super close either way. I think it's going to come down to a Game 5. But I really think TSM is going to thrive here. And I don't think the Space Station playstyle that they normally go for against these higher teams is going to be as well executed against TSM. So TSM take it.
All right. And, you know, I sit on the side of consistency. That is something I always look at when I look at rosters. And this isn't so much as, you know, Space Station is the consistent team as much as it is I don't ever know what day, what version of TSM I'm going to get. So I actually fall on the side of Space Station Gaming. I think they have what it takes there. But I do agree with a lot of what you guys had to say, you know, about AXB and his performance. And let's be real here. If TSM is the three-headed beast, not the two-headed, we suddenly look at this and just go, yeah, that's over. We'll just write it off. Space Station, you're out of here.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, because TSM, look at like game 1 and 2, right? That's what I want to see TSM. Like if iGnite really steps up, then you're like, uh-oh, then these guys are a day 3 team, right? But again, we haven't seen it for over a month now at this point, maybe 2 months, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I quickly also here just want to make sure that everybody at home knows that if a game or a series that you want to watch is not actually partaking on our stream, that we do have a secondary stream going with the DreamHack Rocket League 2 is in fact where you can find that on Twitch there.
Yes.
And, you know, we have a lot of Rocket League action. It can't be encapsulated by just one stream.
It's insane. We are showing 46 games over this entire weekend. That's more than the RLCS combined with, like, play-ins and the promotion tournament and regional championships. But for us, we need battery packs. That's the problem right now. That's what we need, because I have to watch B-Stream. I got to watch the main stage. It's too much for my phone. My phone doesn't like it.
But not too much for Gibbs. There's no such thing as too much
That was a
Rocket
good
League
dad
here.
joke, Gibbs.
You know, hey, I try.
He's providing here for us. But you know who else is providing, at least in the world of commentary? It is going to be none other than our commentary crew between James Bott and Jorby. Boys, take it away.
Thanks, Dreadnought. And this matchup, TSM versus Space Station, I gotta say that while AXB and Sypical, they are those two players that do get things done for Space Station. If you're watching the stream and you look at the player cams and you look at Sathu, his mouth is gonna be moving. He is a very, very vocal leader, just making calls, just trying to keep his team in it, trying to keep them up, high energy all the time. And TSM, they have to find their way continually based, you know, like the desk said, they didn't have a good season, really under expectations for TSM.
Absolutely. TSM, you know, last DreamHack, they were coming in as an invited team. This time they had to qualify their way through. On the other hand, Space Station qualified their way through both DreamHacks so far. So Space Station, a team that has gotten a lot of respect, a rival series team coming into the RLCS, in a spot where we expected them to make Worlds and they fell short. And now they're here to maybe get a little bit of revenge on everyone else. They want to show that, hey, us missing out on the World Championships was a mistake, and we're going to come here and we're going to wreck house. And TSM would be a good win for them out of the gate.
And if you're wondering how Space Station may fare against in an inter-regional matchup, it was at Leipzig. They were eliminated by Renault Vitality. It was an off-stream game, but in that game, it went to Game 5. And it wasn't until Kadoff scored with 3 seconds left that Space Station were eliminated from the tournament. And so now up against TSM, we're underway here in game number 1. And it starts off with AXB having to knock one out over to the side, and now Space Station take it the other way to the blue half.
And iGnite, he's always been the key player for me on this team. I feel like if iGnite's having a great day, then no one else even really has to step up. His shooting can really be something incredible. So I want to see that iGnite come out today.
And he does hit that out to the corner. Metsonaris, another household name in Rocket League, who has had himself what some would consider a disappointing season. Someone else that you'd love to see him really make sparks fly and make waves for TSM at the start here at DreamHack Dallas. A light shot by Metsonaris turned out to the corner.
Yeah, Metsonaris, he was a player that used to be on Complexity, teammates with Magnuson a lot back in the day. They made multiple deep runs in the RLCS, never managed to win the whole thing. But then when Metsonaris joined up with iGnite and Remco, they ended up winning E-League and getting that TSM pickup. So, and a lot of that was because of Metsonaris. So you're right, Jorby, a household name, and deservedly so.
And speaking of Remco, I mean, in that E-League victory, Remco had just incredible defense. It was probably the best defense you've ever seen Remco play. TSM putting another shot, but it's saved this time. Sypical picks that one up and continues to carry it out, but Remco was a defensive force for TSM and has continued to be. TSM continuing to put the offense onto Space Station. That one bounces off the back wall. The shot just off the post. And Ignite knocks it out to Remco. What a pass. TSM score.
Ignite, this, he probably didn't have any time to look where the nearest defender was. So he knew, and you could see there people coming in. Had Ignite left that alone, they would have pinched that off the post and out. It would have been saved. So Ignite, 200 IQ play there. I mean, a lot of people would be like, oh no, he saved it, but no, he got that goal. That goal was not gonna be, or that shot was not gonna be going in.
It's like, just wait, baby, this is going in, no problem.
He's playing the long game.
So TSM the first goal, and they continue. Metzanaris tapping it lightly, trying to keep it out to the top corner. It was a solid touch, but just a little too far wide to the net, and no one from TSM were able to follow. So Space Station, a team known for their aggression, can really meet you at every challenge, but it's been TSM who have kept it in the orange half here so far. Midfield has been locked down. Space Station have been really slow to get to it. They're out of boost, out of resources, and Sypical able to get it out this time. Buy Space Station a little bit of time, but half a game of Rocket League is played. TSM, they've had control for about 2 of those minutes.
And even another big win there from Ignite, winning the 50-50 after the clear. And now bounce pass in the middle, finished off by Metzanaris. TSM dominating game 1.
Taking advantage of such a rough spot for Sypical. He jumps backwards, tries to make this save, but it bounces back off the post, and he's in no position for the rebound as he's up too high off the ground, can't get back down in time.
TSM controlling the pace, starting out hot, keeping Space Station in their own half. Nothing going for Space Station so far. We'll see if they can get this counterattack, but no, it's shut down immediately by Remco. And now on the other end.
The Space Station haven't so much as registered a shot on net in all of this game 1. TSM, they're playing exactly as TSM fans would hope they would. They have come out the gate firing on offense. This one off the backboard met by Metzanaris off the potential shot from Sathu.
That was a slight mistake there from TSM, unpunished, however. Double commit, but still the save, and now the demo on the other end.
Remco backwards at least makes the challenge. Sathu on point for Space Station. We're looking for something, but Sathu getting demoed. He's not going to get anything done in midfield now.
And there's been a lot of demos from both sides in game 1, getting very aggressive.
And that one, a gap for Sathu. They weren't able to make anything happen, and you heard him talk about it on the desk, James. Offensive really issues have plagued this Space Station team. Crossbar shot, post shots, just wide of the post like that one right there. They make solid challenges. They can put together plays and solid passing, but when it comes to scoring, there's a lot left to be desired. The demos continue for TSM on the other side.
TSM and Space Station both playing that demo game, but time is running out for Space Station so far. And now almost an incredible double tap from Remco, but still, TSM, they've held all the cards.
And Ignite, even on that play right there, he grabbed the corner boost, and both members on Space Station couldn't get back to the ball fast enough, so he just turns around, takes control, and wastes more time off the clock with 30 seconds left. And this is exactly how they needed to start this against Space Station. You come out aggressive. You put as many shots on net as possible. You go for that resource pitch control. They've done it. This shot blocked. If Space Station could score with time left, there may be hope. But AXB has to pull off that in midfield, just not in position to take the ball off the challenge. Ignite. It was a question mark for the desk. He stood up here in game number 1. Metzanaris and Remco, a perfect complement. TSM win game 1.
Commandingly as well. This was not really that close. A 2-goal win for TSM, but if you look at the stats, it's so heavily in favor of TSM. Space Station just couldn't break out of their half. They couldn't do it.
Just losing all those challenges and losing the boosts. I wonder how many of their own corner boosts they lost on a lot of those attempts by TSM. And even on this first one, this came off the double commit that was scored on.
This one was on the goal line. This was a lot of fun to watch that, or that was a demo coming out. But the first goal on the goal line here, Ignite bouncing it out, and you could see there, if we could see another angle, you'll see 2 defenders were actually racing in to make that save. And then obviously this one bouncing off the post out to the middle. Metzanaris easily cleaning that one up. TSM pressure just overwhelmed Space Station, and Space Station never really threatening on the other end.
They got to find a way to break out of midfield. They need to at least neutralize the midfield boost game, at least grab one of them to give them a chance to be faster at some of these balls in their own half.
Absolutely, and it's not too late. That was just game one on stage. You know, it's always going to be a feeler game. Both teams trying to get their bearings, but TSM out of the gate fast, just hitting the ground running, taking it to SSG, and SSG going to have to respond.
TSM, statement for themselves. This is the proving grounds for them after a disappointing RLCS season. And we kick off game number 2. And TSM look to just keep things going. That one off the corner, racing for it. And another demo was big for TSM in game number 1. And really just racing towards the ball. You pick that up or the demo, whichever will give you an advantage on, and they just working the edge here. Going corner to corner on Space Station territory.
And you're right, we're picking up right where we left off. TSM in the Space Station half, forcing save after save from Space Station.
And not even getting to the challenge in time.
Yeah, absolutely. They need that speed from Sipical. Sipical has dazzled us in the past with his mechanical ability, his solo play potential. They need him to lead a counterattack right now.
And in Space Station's last matchup today against Yo, which is Ajax, Roldiz, and Austin, they went all 5 games. And that shot just blocked. Remco, that was a zinger of a shot. Sipical picked up the save. But now it's just TSM taking turns in the corner here, throwing it towards the box. Finally a solid clear from Space Station. It bounces straight off the ramp, a huge whiff. ignite out of boost, couldn't take advantage, so Space Station will take it back.
But a bright back pass there to keep possession for Space Station. That's going to allow them to keep the attack going.
Sathu waiting against ignite. He does win that challenge, and they move right through. Double commit by TSM. The net is wide open. Typical takes it, and Space Station, their first goal of the series.
And they finally break through this TSM defense. You can see the double commit leaving the net so wide open. Typical doesn't miss those. And Space Station, despite being on the back foot, managed to take the lead in game 2.
Maybe what just sparks them up off the kickoff, AXB off the backboard, and cleanly getting the rebound was Typical, but it is blocked by Remco. And Remco, the pass, a bouncer shot by ignite is blocked by Sathu. This time Space Station finding a little headway, connecting on these passes out of their own half, and at least gives them a chance at a challenge in the attacking third, but TSM have been so quick to the ball, and even to the other side. ignite, a great touch to Metzenaris. That was just a heads-up play by ignite.
ignite, he had a solid game 1, looking to continue that here in game 2.
And nothing comes out of that play for TSM, but it's that kind of mentality, going for those kind of touches that will really throw Space Station off foot. That shot challenged this time. Metzenaris here as well. Remco wanted to get back to that. Tried to wave dash to get some extra boost out of it, but Space Station, they're at least meeting TSM at the ball, but they're still not able to break out of midfield. Metzenaris, a demo in the back end, but a great challenge will get Space Station out of harm's way.
Yeah, that challenge from AXB, had he lost that, it would have been a different story. TSM starting to heat up. The bounce shot going to be high, but AXB winning that challenge relieved so much pressure and even shut down a scoring opportunity early.
AXB slows it down to pick up some more resources, has it thrown across the box, but again, 2 members of Space Station up pretty far on the play. That one just saved off the backboard, and picking it up was AXB, but it's still TSM's ball. ignite scores. We got a tie game.
ignite, don't let him shoot. Typical had to hustle back to even get the save, and then we even saw the backboard deny as well, but ignite on the prowl, recognizing his opportunity, and he did not hesitate.
And it was a mistake from Space Station earlier. 2 members of Space Station up in midfield, and it was a booming clear. It forced Typical back to have to make an acrobatic save. AXB had to come back to it as well. And that's what plagued Space Station during the RLCS season, is being too aggressive at times, leaving the net open, or giving away a ball that otherwise should have never came back to someone like ignite, who took advantage of it. And the miss will allow Metzanaris to take it by. Another whiff by Space Station. 2 TSM pick up. And it's a lead for TSM.
And a nice touch from Metza allows him to go get that boost, and then the long pass over to Remco. Metzanaris and Remco getting involved. It's the three-headed monster today, Jorby.
Absolutely. TSM of a bell has rung, and they have answered here so far in this series.
Another one.
And they pick up this as well. 3-1. TSM starting to really heat up now.
Despite Space Station getting that early lead, you see as soon as Typical missed that, it was all over for Space Station. iGNITE just gonna punch in his second of the game. TSM now up by 2 with not a lot of time left on the clock. Space Station gave up their lead, conceding those 3 goals to TSM in a row.
And it comes off of whiffs, missed challenges, and a couple of bad touches by Space Station. They just have not really looked themselves. While their shooting may have not been the best, one thing Space Station has always been solid at are solid touches on the ball. We have not seen it yet, really, in game number 2.
We have not seen a lot of the speed from Space Station. They are a fast team. Typical, especially a very gifted player with his speed and ability.
I mean, you wouldn't have gimmicks saying that, oh yeah, Space Station will easily beat Rogue in the, oh, that one just bounced off. That shot's in for AXB. This time they follow through and pull within 1.
And this was the typical double tap, forcing out both defenders, and then AXB. Not much time for him to react, but it doesn't matter. He gets there, puts the shot on target, and now Space Station within striking distance.
iGNITE up high. Space Station off the kickoff. This could be what sets them up for a tie in game number 2. AXB pops it high, but it's going to be cleared immediately. Now midfield. Remco looking for iGNITE. iGNITE can't find a touch. He's challenged anyway by Typical. AXB around the corner. It's got to be in the back. Sathi going to try one more time to get it downfield. And he throws it up high. It's blocked again. Up high in the defensive third. TSM have played it well, prevented shots, a clear downfield, cut off again. At TSM, they take it to match point.
Space Station, you know, game 2 started out where Space Station was still stuck in their net, but they got that goal, and things started to look better for Space Station before TSM just cracked down, scoring those 3 unanswered goals. Space Station now again left struggling. They in the last moments they started to make a comeback, but TSM has been in full control.
And that goal right there, a miss on the challenge, trying to get it up on the read, and then this next goal where iGNITE just flips it over and picks it up off the kickoff. And then Space Station, they got it together near the end, found this just off the crossbar, followed up nicely, and then the following 30 seconds after that, James, it really felt like they were starting to put it together, but TSM were very quick to high balls in their own third. They knocked away everything. There was no gap in that TSM defense in the last seconds.
We've seen a couple double commits. One of them, you know, TSM has had a few mistakes. Both teams have had a couple mistakes, but you're right. Overall, Jorby, TSM playing very solid Rocket League. All 3 players getting involved in the offense and defense, defensive side of the ball. TSM looking very strong, but Space Station now on their last life, at least before going down into the lower bracket, but they're hungry to get into day 2.
Do we still feel that TSM goes as iGNITE goes? Because iGNITE is having a solid series, and as a result, TSM are up 2-0. That off the ceiling, and maybe followed through, but knocked away. Granted, with the help of some Space Station mistakes, but like you said, mistakes go both ways.
Yeah, it's the iGNITE shooting that can really make or break, you know, for TSM, make or break it for them. And right now, it's making it.
Space Station, they need a little bit of magic right now. AXB and Typical, they've been the stars of this squad.
And a win here as well. This will get you to day 2. So they can rest after this, look forward to the next day.
Start thinking about trying to progress to day 3, something they couldn't do at DreamHack Leipzig. But TSM are making their job much harder.
And TSM, again, in game 3, just putting the pressure on. That one almost floating into the net, but the attack still ongoing.
Oh, and this one sneaks its way through. Sathu, he splits it. Space Station take an early lead.
And a counterattack, just a touch high from the ceiling. And Ignite and Metanaris both equally spaced. Neither one of them knew who was going to go get it. And the gap just gets threaded. Space Station on a counterattacking play take the lead, but the same thing happened in game 2. Can they hold on this time?
A quick shot off the kickoff by AXB. And now trying to slow it on the catch was Sathu. But met quickly by TSM, and TSM quick on the transition. Sipical back out to midfield. AXB wide, but he has space and time. Pass out to Sipical, cut off. And Sathu trying to catch it out in midfield. Bought some time for Space Station to try to keep the contest going in midfield. And it's a high ball for Sipical as he falls back to his own challenge. Space Station starting to find some consistent presence in the blue half, but this one cleared away and challenged again. And Mets looking for that clear out to the side, but AXB on that rebound off the first challenge. Turned away again. Space Station slowly starting to put it together, but there's a lot of Rocket League left here and only one goal to show for their efforts so far, and a good cutoff, but still Space Station looking. AXB got a touch, but Ignite took the share of that 50-50.
And one thing that was so exciting to watch about Space Station when we've seen them play even in the RLCS this season was their infield passing ability. These guys know how to play as a team, as a unit, to find each other in this traffic, and now a chance, almost able to do it there.
That one just off the crossbar, looking for a shot across the box, but boomed away again. Space Station, that one bounced a little high.
Well, we need to see more of that, Jorby. We need to see these infield passing plays utilizing each other, give and goes. We haven't really seen much of it, but they have it in them.
And to TSM's credit, they've really shut down some of those passing plays that Space Station have tried to put on. They've been quick to the ball in their own half, TSM have. The Space Station, they've been the ones in control of game 3. And cut off again for Sipical. Metanaris looking for Remco, but it's cut off again by Sathu. And off the side wall, Remco looking for this, but he has Sipical to beat. And now AXB, he catches this from the third, gets under one, has the pass to Sipical, and it's blocked by Remco.
And what a save that was from Remco. A difficult situation to be in on defense, and a wonderful shot, but an even better save.
Such a smart play by AXB to slow it down right in front of the TSM defense, knowing he had a little bit of space, and maybe TSM expecting him to take the shot there. He took advantage of that.
That generated the opportunity, slow playing it, going for that dribble, giving the ball space so that when the defender challenges, it just bounces off their car and keeps going forward. You're right, Jorby. That was what started it.
And AXB got a couple of chips in the offensive half. Space Station, it's a little more confidence in how they approach the ball. With about a minute left, they hang on to a 1-goal lead, but for how long? Ignite without boost can't recorrect. That shot just a little high, and a slight touch will take Metanaris off course, and Space Station retain their 1-goal lead.
Just grazing that ball was enough to throw off that final attacker. Had no contact been made on the ball, that certainly would have been the equalizer. And now TSM scrambling back, and Sipical forced to make a heroic save. Not out of danger, but again, a huge save for SSG.
Not one, but two, pitching it up across the crossbar. Space Station are hanging on to this lead by a half-cut thread. Sipical off the backboard. Sipical scores. Space Station, a 2-goal lead.
And there is that mechanical brilliance that we've been waiting for, even after getting bumped off the ceiling with the double tap. Sipical, that has to be the dagger in game 3.
Space Station, they don't want another series to try to get to day 2. They want day 2 on this series, fighting back. And cleared away downfield. Such a huge goal late in this game with how many chances TSM had started to get at the net. But Space Station, solid control of the ball, solid mix-ups, have given them this 2-goal lead and have given them a Game 3 victory to stay alive here in a Day 2 qualifying match. Another shot light put out to the corner. And Space Station, well done.
Space Station stepping up in game 3 in danger of being swept. TSM controlling the first 2 games, but game 3, this is where the momentum could shift. They shut out TSM, and Sypical stepping up, making opportunities happen, scoring that last goal, even his other double tap, which bounced the ball out to AXB. Sypical having a very solid game, and Space Station looking threatening.
And not only Sypical, I have to give credit to AXB as well, just being the guy who set up everything for their first goal, which we will see right here. And Remco on the challenge, he misses this one, and that shot, it was the second goal, excuse me, that AXB had delivered for Space Station out.
And then, yeah, on the defensive side, we saw that defensive stand from Space Station where they had back-to-back saves. And then this play right here, this is what put it out of reach of TSM. You can see him getting bumped, battling his way through, then getting the double tap.
That recorrection can be so hard in the moment because he got chipped as he wanted to jump off the ceiling. So not only being able to recorrect himself off that bump, but then just the control to be able to do that. I mean, that's insane. That is not easy to do for a player, even at this caliber. And so for Space Station to continue now in the Aquadome, they look to take this to game number 5, and the desk thought that this was gonna be a 5-game set. And after what you've seen of Space Station, you can understand why, but we're underway here in game 4.
They're back still to the wall, Jorby. Space Station have to get this one to try to get through in the upper bracket.
And I still think Space Station have to be careful because they got caught too far up again a couple of times in that last game 3. You don't want to have to be forced to make heroic save after heroic save. Instead, you want to do this and clear the ball quickly, control the boosts, and put another shot on net, forcing a double commit out of TSM.
And that one was almost a deadly counterattack from Space Station. Even their first goal last game was a quick counterattack. Have to watch out. Space Station have that in them.
Find him downfield. That is Sathu off the backboard, but met. And AXB working his way back down. Space Station. It feels like they pick up right where they left off in game number 3. A lot of movement down the field and not feeling a ton of pressure from TSM. Only in spark moments. Sathu slowing this down, flipping it up. Turtle, you heard him say on the desk, Sathu, one of the best dribblers that he knows. Showcasing it right there, trying to generate another opportunity. This one, typical forced back. Having to jump across to make that save. TSM is trying to find that read against AXB, and it generates that quick transition, but nothing, and TSM hang on.
Both teams counter-punching at this point. However, Space Station able to keep this pressure on a little better. See if they can convert on this opportunity.
Reciprocal punts this one high. It's tipped away to the side by Methanaris, followed up. Remco has the quick pass out. And trying to get that right by. He finds one gap, AXB does. Space Station, when it looks like they might be in a little bit of trouble, TSM can't follow up. Methanaris throws this one towards the backboard, but it's met again. Still, the pressure continuing. Remco, he can't get it going. Ignite forced back to make a save. He does against the backboard. Space Station. Typical grabs this one, but misses on the way back to the blue half.
And Metsanaris doing a lot of work there, making that defender miss, and then winning his challenge. We'll see if that buys enough time and positioning for TSM to go on the attack here.
And this one, close again. TSM not finding the gaps on the pass and not winning those challenges, which is what gave them those game 1 and 2 victories. They were just faster to a lot of the balls. And now Space Station meeting them on speed, and TSM, a missed pass. At Space Station, around the corner, you see Metsanaris trying to get the challenge and the boost. He could get neither. And it's been a difference maker for Space Station. Remco slowing it down. Does he have it past Sathu? No. And again, the defensive boost grabbed by Space Station makes TSM's job a little tougher. Off the backboard, the shot blocked again. Sathu there on the save.
Sathu blocking that. He had to predict where the shot would be coming in the right spot. But a scary moment for Space Station as they get away with one there.
Time just being chewed off the clock right now in regulation. Both teams, TSM trying to win this game and go to day 2. Space Station fighting for game number 5. Boomed away again by TSM. AXB tee up, and Remco just getting it away. And he finds the gap at least for a second, but beat on the play. Space Station double commit by TSM. AXB up for this, slows it down in front of the box and picked up by ignite. Tried to flick it away from him. Challenged for now. Remco picks that up. ignite demoed as well, which could have been a potential follow-up angle for TSM. But it's been tough for TSM to find any kind of room in front of the box, any kind of room off the backboard. They haven't been winning those rebounds either.
And even there, that was a chance after the double commit for them to get something going, but low on boost, they weren't able to keep a prolonged attack going. Now having to battle out of their half yet again.
And it's just the resource control by Space Station has been so solid. Every time you see one of them on camera, they're grabbing boost, and if you take a wider angle, you'd see they're still winning boost battles on other halves of the pitch as well.
And another double commit.
And that one popped up by Metzenaris, keeping TSM in it, but it's still dangerous. AXB, a light tap against the backboard. It's boomed away for now. Still midfield locked down. High against the backboard. Carried. Metzenaris has the follow-up. Good touch from Sethu, but a fall. Follow-up from Remco. TSM score with 6 seconds left.
A horrible mistake here. Sethu, not only was he not able to get the touch to the corner, but he didn't land cleanly, so he couldn't get back to get the challenge. A devastating moment there for Sethu and for Space Station. Now just 6 seconds left to tie it up.
They needed a kickoff win. They're not going to get it. Now they got to play off their own back wall. Can they transition? Keeping it high past midfield. Another one just off the post, and the shot denied. Off the backboard, it wasn't close enough. Space Station still looking, no one in position, and TSM head to day 2.
And TSM, like you said, Jorby, moving on. Space Station will go down into the lower bracket of their group. They're not out of it just yet, but that is a devastating way to end it out. You can see Sethu feeling that last touch.
Feel like he had it. Feel like
and it was a
least...
series. Yes, Space Station was surging. They won game 3, in a position to win game 4, and that play there, I mean, Sethu, that was a massive save to even keep it scoreless, but this touch here, just mistiming his jump, can't get his wheels back on the ground, and just a tough moment for them. But TSM, they were playing strong, even all series long. They were stepping up right from the beginning. All 3 members playing solid Rocket League.
It definitely bodes well for them heading into their next matches to try to get to day 2. We have plenty more Rocket League for you guys coming up. You don't want to go anywhere. Check it out here at DreamHack Rocket League or twitch.tv/DreamHack Rocket League 2. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack Pro Circuit live from DreamHack Dallas. I'm your host, Wade Dreadnought Penfold, and we just came to the conclusion here of Space Station Gaming taking on TSM. Up with me here at the desk is going to be Gibbs and Turtle. And guys, I got to ask about that touch by Sathu. You know, how do you overcome those moments? Because you know that is not how we wanted that to play out.
The worst part is it happened right at the end of the last game, so there's not much that you can do to bounce back. But now they have to go down to the lower bracket and bounce back there. And we saw Sathu, he was completely distraught. So it's going to be very hard for him.
Yeah, I mean, a touch like that, especially in a game that you were so close to, it was 0-0, last 6 seconds, and you make a mistake like that is the worst feeling, especially in such a high competitive atmosphere like this. That's just, you got to be feeling that one.
Yeah, it's something that you know that they're looking forward, are going to have to find a way to mentally overcome here as this roster, as we talked about, not nearly as experienced as our victors there in TSM, but TSM really bringing it here to Space Station Gaming. It's not like that one touch was the whole series, right? Like they very much had it, especially in games 1 and 2.
So games 1 and 2, like, I thought it was all about the speed of play. Like TSM, every aerial, they're up first before Space Station, just beating them to every single ball. Space Station slowly found their form, and that's why that mistake by Sathu hurt so much, because there was a chance to come back, but TSM really took it to him early.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the first 2 matches were all TSM. They were completely dominant, and they were winning aerials. I didn't see any double commits, but then as Space Station started to pick up their slack a little bit, it seemed like we saw a little bit more panicking defense from TSM, a little bit more double commits, and then that mistake from Sathu, like we said, that, honestly, I thought Space Station was going to at least come back and take it to Game 5. That mistake was so crucial, and TSM were lucky enough to come out with a win there.
Yeah, it was a doozy of a match as we take a look at some of those highlights, especially, you know, moments like the typical bump into double touch off the wall. Like, it was nutty.
Oh, yeah, this play by Sathu, he just kind of rushed the touch. He could have just brought it to the corner and tried for like an aerial dribble out. Just kind of rushed it there. But then we saw, you know, like TSM throughout the series, though, at least early on, again, they played really well. We saw some near misses from Space Station. That shot by XP was really, really nice to hit it right off the angle. But, like, even game 1, there was a heads-up play by Ignite that's coming up right here, where it's right on the goal line. Normally, you try to avoid it because it's so close to the net, but he actually back passes it out to his teammate. A great play there by Ignite.
Yeah, it was absolutely huge there, and I can't help but feel like moments like that are some of the hardest from a comms level, and lucky enough, we have one of TSM's members here, Metz and Norris, joined us at the desk. I want to know, in that exact moment, ball in the goal, Ignite goes for the dish out. What are comms? Is it just dead silent, whatever happens, happens, or is that being like, I'm about to pass this?
Which situations?
Sorry. No, where he was sitting the ball next to the goal line and Ignite bumps it back out. What was the communication like in that moment?
Well, Ignite was like, I'm stuck in goal and like panicking and screaming or something. And then I was like, it's fine, just leave it. And then it still backed up and accidentally passed it to Rem. I was like, oh, that was convenient.
So we're not even going to give credit to Ignite anymore.
No,
I guess from a great back pass. No.
If it was me, maybe I would have, but no.
Of course, he's not up here, right? Like he said no to the interview.
Yeah, his own fault.
My question for you is, how important is DreamHack Dallas and Valencia for you guys? Because there is no World Championship, so to get in form for the next season.
Yeah, I think it's really important this time. Well, obviously it's every time, but I think this time even more important. And I think we can prove ourselves a bit more because we didn't make Worlds. We don't have much pressure, I think, at these events. So I think it's our time to show what we can do.
Right. And I'm curious, how different do you think that you and TSM as a whole is compared to the other teams? And the way you control the ball seems a lot more thought out instead of just, you know, ball chasing and rushing it. And how does that, you know, adhere to your play style?
Well, it's changed a lot throughout since we became a roster. Like at the start of the roster, we were like just like jumping for a ball and going really fast. But I think we've evolved a lot and play much more like smart Rocket League, which didn't work out this season. But like we're a so much better team this season than we were previous season. It's actually like incredible.
It's definitely noticeable.
And, you know, with some of those changes, you know, who's the one kind of instigating that, or how do you guys kind of go about that as a roster?
Well, our coach Jake has helped us out a lot, and then obviously we take part in the conversation, all of us, and try to figure out the best way to play and always improve.
Well, congratulations on the victory there, Metz and Norris, and good luck going into the future. That is going to be it here for this series. But in fact, we have a series coming up here, and it is going to be an interesting one, as we have OCE taking on the DreamHack Leipzig champions in that of Dignitas. You aren't going to want to miss it, so we'll be right back here after this break. Welcome back here to the DreamHack Pro Circuit, coming to you live from DreamHack Dallas. I'm your host throughout all of the weekend, Wade Dreadnought Penfold, and up here at the desk, a bit of a mix-up here, a shake-up, if you will, in the fact that we got ourselves a Gibbs, but it's not a turtle. He's transformed. It is a Corelli. Corelli, how you doing, man?
Good. You know, not as skilled as Turtle, maybe not as smart, but I can talk, so that's good.
You beat him in the looks category. At least you got that going for you. You know,
take
like
that.
yeah, the guy's.
I can take one.
He's off the mic now, so I can just say whatever I want. He's never going to be able to get me back for that one there.
He's not watching.
Nah. But Space Station Gaming and TSM walking away with that victory there. You know, any thoughts coming out from you, Corelli? Didn't get to hear your perspective over that.
Yeah, uncharacteristic from Space Station, I thought. It felt like a lot of, Jory mentioned it a couple times, poor touches on the clears coming out, and TSM just ate that up. They're such a fast team and a quality team that can find touches back to the middle of the field and put that pressure on immediately. This is something that Space Station needs to look at to change going forward.
And now that's great for TSM. They get out of day one. It was 2 Leipzigs in a row at DreamHack where they leave on day number 1. So that's good for them to go into day number 2 looking really good.
Yeah, be able to sit back and watch all the action, because at DreamHack, there is a ton of action. Actually, so much action that it's not even all just on this stream. We actually have a B stream as well there at DreamHack Rocket League 2. You can tune in to catch some of the other games. And, you know, I heard there was a lot of things going on that B stream.
You know, just a minor upset. Mouse Sports taking down Vitality, the number 1 seed. So Mouse Sports coming out hot. And that's with Speed playing for Alex. So Mouse Sports, out of nowhere, taking down what many consider the best team in the world.
And I was actually watching them back there while the TSM Space Station game was going, and they looked good. So look out for Mouse going forward.
But that's huge because everyone's expecting Vitality versus Energy at the end. We might have to see it earlier, or maybe Vitality just goes home on day number 1.
Yeah, and we started today talking about Vitality as kind of being that new beast brewing, especially when looking at the European region post-Dignitas era, and the fact that they, have a couple of moments of struggle. You got to start wondering, how much does this roster has? Is this truly that, kind of starting of a new chapter?
Mm-hmm. So let's not worry too much, though, I think, about Vitality. We saw that with, I believe it was Savage, who is now Barcelona.
Yes.
On day number 1, they got swept by Rogue, and then what happened to them? They made it all the way to the semifinals. So it's not over for Vitality. They still have a chance to battle back. And, of course, every single day, clean slate, right? So as long as you make day number 2, you're back to a clean slate.
Yeah, on the flip side, though, it puts a lot more pressure on a team. Even though with the experience and the success that Vitality has had, it's scary to drop your first series. And it's big for any team, really, not just Vitality, to go down and drop a series here in day number 1.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be something that is a little bit more concerning. But, talking and keeping our eyes on teams with a lot on their plate, or maybe a lot to be able to play up to, we're going to change our scope here to our series at hand, and that is between Renegades and, I'm kind of alluding to more so on the side of Team Dignitas. What are your guys' thoughts here, knowing that we're going to have them go head-to-head?
There's something to prove for both of these teams, right? Like, we see Renegades now. There's no Drippe. He was the best World Championship player that entire region had. Top 6 in Season 4, 5 and 6 in goals per game. Only other player to do that is Gimmick out of all the players. So he's a clutch LAN player. They don't have Drip anymore. They bring in Zen. He's been to 1 LAN so far, but that was WSOE. They go 0-4. The first time they have not won a series at LAN. So we got to see what Zen has in him when now there's a crowd playing in front of him.
Yeah, and, Renegades does have a lot to prove. They do well in their league play every season, but now they come on the international stage. They want to win and get wins against North America and Europe. And speaking of Europe, Dignitas, the other side, they're a team who had a poor season, one that they didn't expect to have coming in with the new roster change. And so far, we haven't seen too much from them here at Dallas, but going up against Renegades is not an easy matchup.
No, not at all.
Again, this is a team that wants to prove themselves on the international stage.
Yeah, and even though, we've talked about Dignitas not having the same results, especially when looking at the last Pro Circuit era we had with Leipzig, they did come out and win in that moment. And that was like, I can't help but feel like everybody was like, oh, K-Dop gone, now how's this going to look? And they're like, no, that's it, that's still Dig. And it's clearly not going to be the case. And so going against Renegades, I feel like there's a lot of pressure there. Your first one on the big stream, and it's a roster that might be able to threaten you, but you aren't confident you're going to walk away from a win. I feel like that's got to be something on the minds here of Dig.
So the one positive for Dignitas is they started out terrible throughout the RLCS season, but by the end, they were competitive. They finished in 5th, 1 game out of the World Championship, and teams were still fearing them. Like, even Garrett was like, I think Dig is going to make the World Championship. So they are finding that form slowly, and the problem is they kind of ran into a hot PSG at the time. So like everyone is still afraid of them when it comes to a live setting, right? Dignitas know how to win.
They've already won. They've won already once before on a LAN setting this year. And taking a look at Renegades, they're getting all set up and ready to go. Again, a team that wants to prove themselves with the new roster on the international stage.
It's going to be a very important series for them because, again, like they're going to the World Championship. They're playing a team that's not even at the World Championship. And every single season, it doesn't matter. They finished top 4 last season. They lose Drip A. Now everyone's like, you have to prove it to us once again. So they want to prove it here. So then when we go to the World Championship, they are confident and they want to take down their group.
In a post-Drip A, OCE, kind of Renegades roster, who is the one who is going to step up here? Who do we rely on?
You have to go Torsas, right? When he first got into the scene, like at the World Championships, a lot of nerves were playing factors on Torsas. So we saw Drip A have to carry that team. But now that we've seen him be at so many of these events, like in E-League, at WSB, all that, like he is ready to perform, and we expect him to perform.
And you can see Yukio on your screen on the Dignitas side, the new pickup for them. And again, still a lot to prove. They come out and they win a LAN in the beginning of the season, and then they go into RLCS and they have an okay season sitting at 3-4. Violent Panda was a player who has always performed well on an international stage and of course in a LAN setting. So it's yet to be seen what Dignitas can do after their first win here.
And we see the 3-time Turbo Pulse, so he was considered one of the best in the world to ever play this game, but last season, a lot of defensive mistakes. It wasn't only Yukio. That wasn't the issue. It was all 3 players just not performing up to their standards.
Yeah.
And they can right that ship now. Like, once again, like the same for TSM, where Dallas was so important here, and Valencia. This is where Dignitas wants to show that they're one of the best in the world again.
And I think that was one of the most interesting things for me, post DreamHack Leipzig. They walk away with the championship with a new roster. Everybody's impressed, and it's like, okay, same old form. But then when we see, maybe the bricks kind of falling off the building here over the season, you realize this isn't just Yukio who's struggling here. Turbo and Panda both having moments of uncharacteristic errors there. And so I really want to know maybe this is the moment this team kind of comes to life with LAN. And, is Dallas going to be the place that we see the spark to that fire that they need?
Like, it's so hard because, like, Dignitas, no matter what they did this season, you can't live up to 2018 Dignitas, right? Like, no one can. So, sure, they don't make World Championship. That is extremely disappointing, but like, if they win this again, who knows? It's very possible. They are still a threat, and everyone knows it.
It's kind of funny because both these teams have something to prove here, right?
Yeah.
Renegades on the Oceania side, it's like, okay, this is a team that's come in and historically actually done pretty well at the World Championship as of late. But, outside of that, the international stage hasn't been that great for them. This is a chance for them to prove against a quality European team in Dignitas to come out and take a win here in Dallas. Also, for Dignitas, though, a poor season leading into this, now proving we can still be that team that we saw last year and even coming into this year. But we've yet to see it here in the RLCS League play. Now coming into Dallas, this is the time to prove it.
Yeah, and I feel like when I look at this roster, the one player that I feel like has the most on a performance level, though we can admit maybe bits and pieces through all the members, it still sits on the side of Yukio. And I mean that for more than just being the newest member of the roster. I personally am of the belief, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong here, he's one of the few keyboard and mouse players. That gives him already almost like a separation in the fact that he is easy to frown upon and the fact that his medium is different than everyone else's.
And also with Torsas, too. He's playing on mouse keyboard as well. So both of these guys, it'll be fun to see them battle it out. But Yukio, there was a lot of pressure this season. You have to fill the shoes of K-Dop. No one can fill the shoes of K-Dop.
You're right.
So, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on him, and I think he did the best in that situation. Obviously, you want them at Worlds, though, but once again, man, just write everything here. Have a good day 3 performance in Dallas, and then people are like, oh, all right. We see Dignitas, and they are back. Sure, they won't be at Worlds, but they just want to be like, hey, we'll win every DreamHack this season. We don't care.
And they could. I mean, but those concerns that what we saw in the league play as of late, you come into an international stage like this in a LAN before the World Championships, and people go, I don't really know what Dignitas is anymore. You can look back earlier in the year and say, yeah, that win was great, but what can you do now? And what we've seen from them hasn't really been that spectacular.
Yeah, and guys, now it is time for the words of Leaf here, the most important part of the show. And that is going to be your guys' prediction coming down for this matchup between Renegades and Dignitas.
So there's 2 constants in the world, right? I always pick against the Renegades, and I always pick for Dignitas. They are in completely 2 different scenarios now. I'm still going to go Dignitas. I just feel like that LAN experience really will pay off here. And with the Renegades, I haven't seen them yet without Drippe perform like in a live environment. So I need to see that before I pick them. I'm going Dignitas.
I absolutely completely disagree. I think it's going to be Renegades. I like the way this team has played. I think Zen has actually done just fine. Torsas being the amazing player that we saw throughout season after season. And again, Dignitas did not have a good season here. I think Renegades can come up and smack them in the mouth real quick. So I'm going Renegades.
Yeah, I think it's fair. With Dignitas, it's not like we're in day 3. Everybody's gotten in their groove in the comfort too, and I feel like that does give Renegades a possibility. But I still sit on the other side here. I'm on the side of Dignitas. Look, I know I'm bringing down the boat. Okay, you always vote. I match you, and then I just ruin everything. It ruined Christmas. But the real reason here is that I share the same fate. It's guilty until proven innocent, almost circumstances that I need the proof out of OCE. And post Drippe, I haven't gotten that quite yet, so I'm still sitting with Dig, even though it is a struggling battle there. But look at the people at home battling just as back and forth as we are here. Only 4% between the two.
And I think that goes to show that people have concerns about Dignitas, because if we did this vote last year, it'd be like 85% Dignitas.
Yep.
You know, it would just be like the 1,200 people in Australia voting for Renegades. So for the vote to be that close does go to show how good Renegades has become, even without Drippe, and the concerns people have about Dignitas.
Well, we have spoken here on this match, but we aren't the only ones to be speaking about it, because we got ourselves a new casting group. Look at it. Wait, you were just over here, Turtle. Why are you over there?
We gotta have a talk, man.
Yeah.
I kicked him out.
Wait, we had one series together, 2 series together, and this fast you're just becoming a trade?
I leave and then you roast me instantly after. That's
You
the kind
have
of
to come
relationship we have.
to a place that would respect you, and you've found it. So
You know,
it's
that's
good.
messed up,
Thank you
man.
for joining me, Turtle.
That's
I
messed up.
appreciate it. But we are indeed going to get right into this one, Dignitas versus Renegades. And they talked a little bit about
Right.
it, why that people might favor Dignitas. But again, the last time they played each other was at WSOE, Turtle.
And honestly, they did lose. Renegades lost that match, but they have had so much practice over the past season. They came first in their league, and they're here to regain confidence and also prove that Zen, the new player, can make a great addition to their roster.
Yeah, and I think Zen, Curly made a great point about that. Zen, definitely a guy that I think has definitely impressed. He's a very strong mechanical player over on that Renegades team, and I look for him to be a good force. But of course, Kami before them was that next pickup. He was a big choice to be chosen for that Renegades roster as well. They wanted him for that extra impact in the international scene. But it was a pretty close series last time they played. It was a 3-1 result for Dignitas back at WSOE, but the games were much closer than you might have expected. And so I definitely think there's certainly a case to be made for choosing Renegades here.
And now the mechanical gods, Yukio and I think Torsos, the mechanical player, are going to be facing off against each other. I'm excited to see who will take this.
This is definitely going to be an interesting one because, again, you really get to see a lot of those questions answered. Like you said, the experience has come through, and now that the Renegades have got a lot more under their belt together, we'll see if they can get some vengeance here at Dignitas, or maybe if the live environment picks things up and we see the Dignitas of old. And so it will start off with a nice clear from Yukio. Turbo Pulsa trying to get that back pass to Violent Panda. Backboard, second touch. Not going to be able to get there. Zen to deny. But early on, Dignitas setting up some pressure in the midfield. Solid clear from Renegades. Denied by Turbo Pulsa on the side wall. Violent Panda with a little bit of extra space to work with out of the corner. Nobody challenging off the midfield line, though, and Zen, free ball for Turbo, and they'll try and take one out on a dribble.
And I'm just curious to see what kind of Dignitas we're going to see at this DreamHack. I mean, it's been mentioned so many times that they won the last DreamHack. They were on fire, honestly. Yes. And they're coming out here, and I'm curious, you know, they've been exponentially increasing their skill and their team play over the season.
Backboard touch, cleared away, and a solid touch from Kami out into safety, but Yukio to keep the pressure up. Turbo Pulsa waiting patiently on his own half for this clear from Torsas. Gonna have to wait a second time, though. Not going across the field, wants to stick with it, get some help from Yukio. As Violent Panda there, it comes straight down into the middle. It will be cleared away, so Renegades hanging on fairly well, but struggling to really get the offense going. Shot towards the back wall, denied by Zen. Soft bounce into the corner, free ball, and that will be Yukio. It will just sneak in under the crossbar. Dignitas, they finally broke him down, and it took them a solid 2 minutes or so, but they finally get it done.
Literally, the ball was almost in that side of the field the entire time. Just a great placement from Yukio, and the pressure finally makes Renegades collapse as we get into this game.
So the big thing going to be, how can Renegades close that gap a little bit, get to those balls a little bit faster, and find some solid clears into space? And they've got a chance to put some pressure on Turbo Pulsar here. Torsas not able to get through Yukio off the back wall. It will be pushed into the midfield. Zen again to deny, but now challenging Turbo. Can he stick with it? He'll need some help from Torsas. Unfortunately, late to the ball. Follow through Kami. No help on the midfield, and that will be slow challenge from Renegades, but they are still able to at least get some pressure going, and that's what you like to see, especially when they were under so much pressure early on in the game.
Right, and build some confidence as well, because everybody, I mean, honestly, the Twitch chat was actually pretty 50-50, but for the most part, I feel like the Dignitas name is more known, and people expect them to come out with a better chance at winning, so getting some, confidence and being able to clear it as a team definitely helps them on.
And there is definitely a lot of pressure on Dignitas to come out here and be successful, and they will do just that. Violent Panda catches a pass from the outside and finds the top right-hand corner.
And cross-pitch passing is the name of the game here. Violent Panda coming across. Turbo, you see the communication and the team play that they have. It's building. We didn't see that so much in the season, but it's finally starting to come together, and you want to see team passes like that from Dignitas.
So some solid execution, and again, doing that same play off the kickoff. They went for that side boost, and they just bumped that Renegades player away from that side boost, and it really does set them off in a poor position with not a lot of resources. Backboard bounce. Turbo Pulsar won't have a chance at it. Kami will deny it. So Yukio asking for help. A demo wants to. Nobody there. It doesn't matter. Violent Panda was the first to it. So well done from Yukio to clear the way here.
Yeah, in the corner, just the pressure keeps collapsing, and the demo on the wall. Not much to do there as Renegades. The pressures just keep on coming from Dignitas, and we see the DeLorean from Turbo Pulsar. I haven't even really acknowledged the fact that he's on that car right now.
Well, he played it early on in league play, and he did do it first because he put out a Twitter poll. So it is kind of funny to see him bring that back
poll.
out here. He did. He put out a Twitter poll. It was like, what car should I play in? The people spoke and said DeLorean.
I mean, hey, it's working. 3-0.
It is working right now. Absolutely. And that is probably actually going to be a pretty solid closeout to game number 1 as well here for Dignitas, because 2 minutes they've held some pretty solid pressure, and Renegades definitely going to need, I think, more than just one game to figure out how they want to approach this Dignitas team.
Right, and use these 2 minutes. Obviously, you still have a minute and a half left. You're down 3 goals, but if you can build some kind of momentum, not only to go into game 2, but even possibly run away with this, you never know what, Dignitas could end up making a mistake.
Yeah, just put some good sequences together, and right now they're doing just that. And almost able to get that ball through Turbo Pulsar. Zen uncontested, or at least the challenge came late. Bounce off the backboard. He'll deny the boost from Dignitas, and maybe they'll be able to box him in, but a nice hole found by Yukio, and Kami to delay the push. And once more onto the Renegades half here as we hit the final minute of play.
The pressure finally seems like it's breaking out of the Renegades half, which is perfect for them right now. And we just see Kami trying to take it in the corner and build some kind of chemistry right now to put them on the board.
A little bit of space for Kami to work with a missed touch from Dignitas. Up the side, easily stopped by Yukio. Tough read to make, can't find it. Torsas off the side to Turbo Pulsar, who's in a great spot. Made a solid read, but will just deny the corner boost on the way out. And we will cruise to completion here of game number 1. For Renegades and Dignitas, and I think this is a pretty strong showing from Dignitas as well, because at the start, definitely a good case to be made for Renegades, but to see them kind of handedly give them the L here in game number 1, it does speak well to Dignitas.
Exactly, just polished rotations, completely able to keep the pressure, and Turbo Pulsar, again, showing up and proving that they're a better team with these cross plays, across the pitch, the give and go. Turbo Pulsar coming in from the far side, everybody getting involved there, and this Dignitas is starting to look a lot better in form right now.
And that's the second time we've seen that pass play as well. Again, 2 times pass from the outside to the top of the box somewhere for Dignitas. They found the man, and more importantly, the shot was uncontested, and the same thing here, but they tried to give it right back for one more go. It will be not into the net, so close, but Dignitas will have a laugh about it. and take the win for game number 1 in quality fashion. So Renegades, definitely some things to work up on. The clear game, probably the biggest one.
Just rinse and repeat for Dignitas. As long as they can keep up this form and try and constantly keep the pressure on, they've seen it before. Renegades has just collapsed and they can't handle it. They got to get it clear out, can't manage to get it, and then just get these nice, simple cross-pass plays.
And you'll see a bit of them here again. Just wonderful touch out to the middle to Violent Panda and uncontested. And this was this pressure that Dignitas was really able to build up the entire series long. Yukio able to open a nice goal and really put in the ender for that game. And that was fairly early on, but it was just a ton of offense from Dignitas. Uncontested shots here from the top of the box. And those are dangerous at any time in the RLC.
And you just see Renegades trying to stay in the net more and get some kind of last-second save, but that kind of positioning really is not going to do well, especially against a team like Dignitas, who realizes, hey, you know, if they're going to stay in the net, we're just going to pass. They're so adaptable.
And that's kind of the hard thing, is how do you deal with those passes from outside of the box? It's really a lot of the pressure is on the guy in the net to read where that pass is going, what's about to happen, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, as Renegades here, you just want to look at how you can get some kind of momentum and put yourself back on the board and be more aggressive. Haven't really seen them come through in the midfield game, letting Dignitas just walk all over them, and honestly, it was a 3-0 statement.
And that does start, I think, to Dignitas and their capability on the kickoff. They really did push a lot of those Renegades players off the ball, or off the boost pad at the side on the kickoff. And I want to see if they continue to do that here in game number 2. It was really putting the resource strain early on, and that is the worst thing that can happen, is when you're getting denied a lot of resources off the kickoff. It's just so tough to get yourself into a good rhythm. And game 2 starting off almost where we left off. Zan able to find a small gap. Torsas going to be looking for some help here. Denied by Yuki off the back wall and punched into the midfield. So Renegades setting up for the first offensive sequence. Torsas might have had a chance on target there. Got a little bit too far under it. Wasn't even able to put it close to the net. And they might want that one back.
And just a demo right there, just showing aggressive so much more than the previous game. They're managing to get a little bit more control here on the pitch and push themselves out of their own half.
Nice tip from Kami, but again, well read from Violent Panda on the midfield line, and that has been a calling card for Dignitas for a long time. Very tough to get through in the midfield, as this one high above the Dignitas net. Second touch from Kami, needs help, but the only one there is Yukio. Zen playing the clear, will not be able to find a pass. Torsas in support though. Turbo to delay, and that is going to put Zen all the way back in his own half. Can't risk the challenge.
And the speed coming out from Renegades is noticeably different. They're beating Dignitas to the ball now. Seems like a 50-50 game. And now we've got a battle between who can keep pressure.
But Kami did just lose that boost. Does the second best thing, punches the man off the ball. Tries to let a teammate come in and help. Violent Panda finds a hole. Out onto the offense for Dignitas. Not going for the pass. Yukio got a deflection, and it went straight to Turbo Pulsa, and he found the top left.
Now, I'm not sure if this was calculated, honestly, but this challenge here from Yukio, unfortunate dunk there from the defensive end of Renegades, popping right out to Turbo Pulsa, and a great reaction, able to read the play and not only get a shot on net, but just be in the right position.
And so Dignitas strike first in game number 2 again. And now we'll see if Renegades, they finally get possession off the kickoff. Kami wants an air dribble. He's over everybody, but Yukio will deny it. Finally off the goal line, and Torsas in damage control mode, just trying to hang on to the ball.
Finally seeing some more mechanical skill here out of Renegades, trying to be creative on the pitch and push Dignitas to be a little bit more uncomfortable. They've just been so comfortable this whole game. Nothing has forced them outside of their zone.
That will do it. Well, it didn't put him out of their zone. It was just a beautiful shot from Torsas. Just right to himself, nobody there to challenge.
Look at this precision. At this point, you can't even save that. That is a perfect shot off the crossbar. Torsas making a statement and finally putting one on the board for Renegades.
And a great start as well. Early equalizer in game number 2. Keep yourself locked in and feeling good. So a huge goal for the Renegades to get themselves started. A demo almost opens the net, but it's off the back wall, and a wonderful clear coming out from the Renegades as Torsas tries to continue it here in the Dignitas corner and will be pushed aside. Kami with space, and that's something the Renegades have been doing as well. They're not shy to just take the ball back to their half, and they're not willing to force something if they don't have to.
Right, the control they have is just very great right now, but it won't honestly force some kind of mistake out of Dignitas that they're trying to do. We saw the shot that they just got in, but it didn't force them into a comfort zone like you were saying, or a discomfort.
Turbo Pulsar will not have any help from his teammate. The first one being there will be Torsas. Finally, Violent Panda comes through, blasts one all the way back to the Renegades half. Bounce into the middle, no help, and a long clear from the Renegades. Not on target. Yukio will make sure of that. And again, out of the corner, Renegades, that's been a lot of it too, is they get that ball stuck in the corner. It's been so difficult for them to get it out because Dignitas have been challenging quite well in that regard. They just can't find that touch out into the middle of the field or out to the top of the box somewhere. And a one-on-one now for Violent Panda. Over one, Yukio is going to wait his turn as he reads this clear from Zen. Too slow, however, and Torsas, I think he double committed with his teammate, and that mean it just slowed down that push out. And again, extra time for Dignitas to recover.
And this game is winding down to the last second, 1-1. You just want to see who can finally put in the goal that needs to be put in. This is just such a close match so far. Renegades finally showing up.
But can they get out of their own half? Violent Panda to pressure. Stopped in the corner by Torsas. Open ball in the midfield for Zen. First to it, but great play from Turbo right behind him. Yukio is going to have to let that one go, and Torsas is in a 1v1 on Violent Panda, and he slots it right behind him.
And we just see, I think that was Zen coming in with the great 1v1 skill, forcing a challenge, and then the pass from Kami to Torsas. That was everybody involved, forcing discomfort out of Dignitas, creating space for themselves, and just a great shot.
Great understanding as well, going right behind him. So easy to shoot that one to the back post, but caught Violent Panda maybe edging that way, couldn't make it back, and Dignitas going to have to battle here in the final 60 if they want to find an equalizer.
You see Violent Panda, they're going for a demo. They're trying to use other options now because they don't have the control and the comfort that they've had before, because Renegades is finally pushing up and controlling this midfield.
Awkward play for Violent Panda, but an excellent clear off his back wall. It's on target, and just diving back as Torsas. Huge save. Yukio almost able to win cleanly through, but they still need some more help to make sure they hang on to this ball. It will not be there. Zen finds a gap, and we're off into the Dignitas half to waste some time. That Renegades is more than happy to do.
And a huge clear is all Dignitas needs just to tie this one up. They got to put one in.
Off that corner, still on the wrong side. Dignitas actually double commit. Gonna have to sort themselves out in short order. They deny the corner boost. That's a good start for something here for the final 10. I feel like Renegade's gonna be able to hang on. Pass to Violent Panda through one. Cost a lot of boost though. And first one is Torsas blasted upfield. That will likely be the end of it, barring a great play here.
Well, it's still up.
Chance, Yukio, he's got no boost. Things are going to die down. Renegades find a quality win in game number 2, and no small thank you to Torsas. He put in both.
Yeah, just honestly so much better defensive play here from Renegades, and Dignitas not on their game right now. They're not able to, we didn't see really any cross-pitch passes. They only got one lucky challenge that went right to Turbo.
And this is that first goal that Torsas put in at the start of the game. Just, you said it, unsavable.
Just a banger.
Off the bar, right to himself, off the ceiling. And again, they get this go-ahead game winner.
And Zen right there, the solo play from him was fantastic to create this space for his team.
And again, they were so close.
That could have done
40
it.
seconds. It was an awesome clear. That was that bomb of a clear from Violent Panda off the back wall, and a cheeky grin from everybody on Renegades as they walk away with a Game 2 victory. So they tie things up 1-1. And this is very reminiscent now of how WSOE felt. So how do you continue, Renegades? Because, yes, they did win. They did. I think it was a well-deserved win in game number 2, but still struggling to really create a lot of quality goal-scoring opportunities. The ones they got, Torsas with the solo play, and then they finally caught Dignitas in the 1v1, and they executed a great passing play.
I mean, I definitely think the story will end differently because we saw the smile, like you were saying, the cheeky smile, the confidence from Zen coming out. It feels like they're a little bit more of a unit here at this DreamHack, and they're ready to make a statement, honestly, about the performance and against this Dignitas team.
And that speaks to that experience that you were talking about. You know, they've after WSOE, there was a lot of questions. All right, Zen, you're the new kid on the block, and now they've been through an entire league play with each other, and they do have a much firmer understanding and a better grasp of how each other approaches the game. So maybe Renegades will continue to adapt here and come out with another win in game number 3 and put a lot of pressure on Dignitas. And a long clear up field stopped by Kami, and some early ping pong in game number 3.
I'm curious to see how Dignitas will react if they're going to keep their, I guess, passive play style. It doesn't really seem too forceful, but if they can manage to keep getting those cross pass plays that I didn't see any of the last game, but the first game, but this shot coming out from Torsas, we see the team plays from Renegades and the confidence on the field.
Renegades definitely looking for a few more passing options at the start of game number 3. Starting to get that rolling in the proper direction, but Turbopolsa continuing to win some great challenges. He's going to need a lot of help, though. Is someone there? I think he got bumped and just kicked the ball out into space, and now it's a quick transition back the other way for Renegades. Shot towards net on target, and a nice save from Turbopolsa.
And nobody from Dignitas was going in there. Turbo got like some weird bump in the air, but nobody was following up. It just seems like everybody's not willing to go in. But yeah, the breakaway, the place from Renegades, seems like they're holding up so much better.
Oh, back the other way, and both teams having to make some diving stops off of great clears from the opposition, as this one on target denied by Torsas.
And Kami just chose to leave it right there. Bit of a risky play, but I mean, honestly, we speak about confidence, and he's just, I'm leaving the ball. I know my teammate's gonna save.
Oh, Zen missed a bit of the boost there, but he will deny the corner on the way out. Keep the pressure up. Torsas back to him, so close to getting that pass cleanly into the middle. Unfortunately, Kami will have to wait and block the clear, so Dignitas, a couple extra seconds here to get themselves set. Find a touch into the midfield, but now it's everything feels like it's turned on its end here. Dignitas having to go for long clears, almost into the net, trying to pick a spot. Turbopolsa turned aside by Zen, and the Renegades, that's twice now that they've had to make a tough save.
And it's against those long clears as well. It seems like Dignitas can see the opening, but they're just getting so close to putting one in.
And that's that product, you think, of Renegades. They're trying to keep this pressure up, and finally Turbopolsa, he continues to win challenges on the opposite half of the field.
And look at the patience, the solo play cutting around perfectly to put one in. Exactly what Dignitas needs. If they can't get a cross-pitch pass, controlling the ball like that and making use of the space is exactly what you want to see.
And Renegades, how do you find an answer? You got a quick one in game number 2. Can they find another one here in game 3? Kami to pressure, wants that demo on Turbo. Wasn't sure if he got it. Torsas went to go deny the boost in the corner, so it slowed down the shot. Just probably wasn't expecting that bump to actually pay off, and they squander a chance. Violent Panda off the midfield line, has help coming in Yukio. Kami just able to get the nose on it. Free ball for Yukio, backboard bounce, tough read for Zen in the net. Has help, and he makes the save coming off the back wall. Second shot comes through, Torsas to deny. Again followed through, everybody comes up empty. Still kept aside by Zen. Renegades scrambling in front of the net, but they do get the job done.
Oh my, what are these saves coming out from Renegades? Literally every single player got a piece of that. That was unreal.
Pressure is still continuing to build with Turbopolsa finding actually 2 demos from Dignitas. Diving back, Torsas can't make it, and a huge insurance goal for Yukio at a minute 40.
Look, if everybody's getting a save, all you got to do is say, you know what, I'm just going to kill them so they aren't here. You know, just take them out, it's all over, and then you got space to work with. After getting 3 remarkable saves, Renegades have the pressure on them 2-0.
That is the way to do it, 100%. They keep making saves, stop them from making them. Torsas, he really had to scramble back there, and he was just so ready to push up field, expecting a clear to come through. And he just couldn't turn around in time, and now the real pressure on Renegades as they're about to be on match point. Beautiful touch from Torsas. Unfortunately, clipped a little bit too high, and Zen could only delay the push out from Dignitas. Great cut from Yukio, back behind Torsas.
1v1. Wow, that was just great mechanical skill from Yukio, putting on his ones, getting it to one side, and just staying so close to the ball. The shot there was amazing.
And a lot of that comes from how you hide that dribble, your intentions, and that staying so close to the ball is, something you've probably had to deal with in your fair share of the days. And the hard part, I'll ask you, how do you approach those dribble scenarios and those one-on-one?
I mean, it's really, you just got to analyze where the car is before they go across. And Violent Panda coming in again, putting another one in. This is turning into a slaughter for Dignitas here in Game 3.
It did get out of hand fairly quickly. It was close for a bit, but again, that beautiful pass from the outside of the pitch, top of the box, uncontested shot. They find the gap, and Dignitas will roll on through into game number 4.
Every single goal as we continue on for Dignitas in this match is getting more and increasingly better of mechanical skill showcase.
But can Renegades get something going, find an answer in game 4? They did great adapting in game number 2, but still, this ball spending so much time on the sides of the pitch. for Renegades whenever they're on offense, and they just don't seem to have that strong challenge game against the side like Dignitas does. They finally got a touch out to the middle of the pitch, but unfortunately Zen was expecting to have to make a challenge instead of be ready for the shot. So the final 30. And Renegades maybe get a couple of opportunities here. Chance to deny some corner boost, keep the pressure up.
And if you're Renegades, you just look to how you can recollect yourselves against this Dignitas squad, who seem to have definitely changed up how they're approaching the ball. A lot more 1v1 skill showcase and demos coming out from Turbo Pulse. So just great responses overall, especially after that 3 line goal save. Everybody from Renegades getting involved.
It was a great sequence. Unfortunately, they couldn't finally put one in back the other way. So 2 shutouts for Dignitas now in this series, and Violent Panda very satisfied. You can understand why.
And these guys are just so calm and collected on every land. Dignitas have been to, you can't even count how many lands at this point. It's unreal. They're so used to being on this environment. And look at this 3-man save.
They kept going. They kept circling. And
another one.
That one you really thought was the one that was going to go in. But even Zen and Kami, it was coordinated on how they came into the net. They didn't run into each other.
The Turbo Pulso with the response, he's like, oh my gosh. You know what? I'm just going to go for the demos.
Get him out of here. They broke him down. Said, finally, someone's not going to be able to make a play. And Yukio, that was the real deal sealer. That beautiful dribble up the midfield. Cut through one and blasted back behind the guy trying to defend both sides of the net. Well executed from Mr. Yukio there.
The man filling in the shoes of K-Dop definitely has a lot of eyes on him. Probably feels really good to get a solo play like that, put his skills on showcase for everybody to watch. But Renegades are still in it. You know, it's been back and forth. We saw a bit more of a domination from Dignitas the first game. Renegades were managed, to respond. And then Dignitas come out again and just dominate. And
it was a good showing as well. And there was, I think, a lot of expectation, I feel, for Dignitas to come out here and put on a strong showing in DreamHack. This is pretty much the culmination of RLCS Season 7 for them. Since they didn't make LAN, this is the last live appearance that they're going to get a chance to play in internationally. And Dignitas absolutely wants to make the most of it.
Right, and it makes it that much more important for them to show what they have going into next season.
And Renegades getting a feel for what the competition will be like in New Jersey shortly, as they are currently trying to find a way out of their own corner. And up the side wall, pass all the way across, well met from Kami. Turbo Pulsa gonna take the long route, deny that midfield boost, and again, continue to box Renegades in on their half. It's just that command, those midfield boosts, occasionally taking away a corner, just makes it so tough for Renegades to have any support when they finally break out.
That's a big thing we've seen Dignitas in the past, and their top shape do is just starve their opponents so well, just keep the rotation coming in, force the pressure on, take the boost, and then a mistake will 100% come.
Well, here's Yukio, pass down to Violent Panda, top center, and actually off the bar and right back into Yukio. He gives a little grin. Turbo Pulsa says, yeah, did you mean that one? I don't know if he did, but we'll take it.
I'm curious if he boosted right here. No, he didn't have any boost, literally just landing. Like you said, we saw the smile on him. Definitely feeling good about that one. He'll take the goal from, Turbo Pulsa any day. And that was a little bit fortunate, but definitely a great setup.
Great start for Dignitas, and they'll keep the train rolling from game number 3. And Renegades would obviously like to avoid this. Yukio puts in the second goal of the game 4.
And just look at the cross passes. I think that was Turbo in the corner trying to get a pinch across. Managed to do so. And Yukio just keeps putting these ones in. We saw the individual solo play. We just saw the goal steal, and now finally getting a solid shot in.
And you got to stop the bleeding right now if you're Renegades, if you want to have a chance of coming back and winning this series. You got about 4 minutes on the clock. You just got to get out of your own half for a little bit. And they might have done just that, but unfortunately, again, it's those resources. Kami, beautiful position, had everyone beat.
Just no boost.
Just no boost.
What do you do? I mean, you can look to pick up more pads, but then your positioning is off balance as well. So you're just getting starved right now from Dignitas, and you need to get solid clear so you can collect yourself.
Oh, what a beautiful laydown from Violent Panda into the middle for Yukio, but Torsas, again, diving out of his corner, able to make a nice save. And cleared up field. Torsas the set down for Kami, and they won't quite sneak it through. Yukio able to make a nice block. And denied by Violent Panda in the midfield. Turbo Pulsa to push it up, stopped by Torsas. Kami a little shimmy shake as he tries to get through that midfield line. Actually got him a decent scoring opportunity, but again, easily deflected from Dignitas. And And a quick transition, hard clear to Violent Panda on the side wall, right towards the back wall. And that's where that speed of Dignitas is really going to come through, because if there's anything that they're great at, it's challenging the ball.
And we've seen so many hard clears. Almost every single clear from Dignitas is just so accurate and on point. And a little bit of a scramble from Renegades on the defense. Managed to get another goal line save.
Oh, nice little delay from Yukio out to the side. It put a little bit of pressure on Renegades, but they were able to suss out what the next move was, make the block, but can they break out? Time continues to tick, and it's more and more of a factor again. Torsos off the back wall, denies a shot from Dignitas. They finally sneak through, but can Zen make it back with no boost? He'll have to let it go. And they will probably be turned aside here at the goal line once again.
They're barely managing to stop these last-second shots from coming in, and they're already down 2 goals. They need to somehow break down, but you said it's the boost.
It really is. That boost game is so crucial to being successful on offense, because you need that ability to support your teammates if they aren't able to make a play. And Dignitas have just done a masterful job commanding it all series long. Some wonderful clears here from Renegades. They find a couple of holes, pass into the middle, and sniffed out by Yukio. Torsos going to be waiting his turn on the rotation. He's coming in, and that will be a demo on Turbo and a kick into the corner. Sacrifice of Turbo for safety. Dignitas will take that. And again, time continues to tick. Renegades at least able to string some things together.
You gotta break this Dignitas wall and go for more demos like that. We see Kami finally getting some demos, but they don't even feel like they're on purpose. You know, you want to try and break it. Something to do with this Dignitas wall that is just so consistent and on point right now.
Turbo Pulsa doing just that. Demos one, tips it around the other, and forces Kami into the long clear, and it's you got to find that follow-up, and again, those strong backboard clears that have been so good from Dignitas in this particular series, definitely. Wonderful passing play out of their own half from Renegades, but unfortunately, a shot off target, clear for Dignitas, and as we get towards the final 30, you feel like there's just not enough steam for Renegades to really get something going unless they score pretty much now.
Just getting met to every single clear right now. The Renegades, they got to score right now. They got 30 seconds on the clock, have some solid pressure right now. Can they get another half?
Trying to find a hole here out of the corner. Zen actually gets it taken off, but it's okay. It's a 1-on-2 and just blasted by Kami. Might have rushed it a little bit.
Needed to take some kind of patience there, really just clearing it, especially with this last 15 seconds on the clock.
Violent Panda, free clear out of the midfield, stolen away by Kami, but actually everybody gonna come up empty there, but that'll just waste time. And Renegades, unfortunately, have a repeat result of Dignitas. They will lose 1-3, but Dignitas putting on a show, and they absolutely deserve this win here.
It was rough for Renegades. They just could not break out of their shell. But Yukio right there, honestly, probably the man of the match, coming in so clutch with so many individual plays, and just a great performance from him.
Definitely involved in a lot of those goals for them, and just quality from Dignitas. Now, that's not to disparage Renegades, of course. They did put together some great sequences, and that's the one that really got it rolling in game number 4, and Yukio the second one behind the last man. So a great game number 4 for him to close things out, but unfortunately, Renegades, they actually had some pretty good sequences on offense, so it was just generating that quality shot opportunity was the toughest part for them.
Right.
And they just snuck a couple through.
Responding to clears, too. So many clears were just boomers directly at Renegade's net.
Yeah, the long clears, very well handled by Dignitas, but that will wrap up that series of the day. And when we come back, we will have more DreamHack Pro Circuit for you guys. So stick around, and we'll see you soon.
Team Dignitas was able to find themselves a victory here over Renegades at the DreamHack Pro Circuit. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. I am Wade Dreadnought Penfold. I will be your host throughout the weekend. And I'm up here with Gibbs and Corelli. Guys, we were torn. We knew that this one was going to be a little bit more competitive. Did it come out to what we expected or what?
I expected a little more out of Renegades. I thought they would show up just a bit more. I felt like there's so much time just available for Dignitas to do whatever they wanted. And when Dignitas has time, we all know that is bad for everyone.
Yeah, as I was watching the game there, that was something I wrote down was it just felt like Dignitas was allowed to do whatever they want. Renegades didn't really put up much of a fight. The casters pointed it out quite a bit. The boost management coming out from Renegades, or maybe the boost starvation from Dignitas, really put a hole in the offense for Renegades, and they were locked in on defense quite a bit.
And I feel like it's important because we don't always get to see OCE be able to perform against others other than within their own region. Where do we feel like that leaves the benchmark going into things like Season 7 Worlds?
So I think with Renegades, they always do extremely well when they have those 3 days of scrims before the World Championship, because every team has always said, all right, day 1, they don't look that great, but by day 3, they look like a World Championship team. So maybe here, a lot less scrims, not as much time to adapt, and they weren't ready for it.
Yeah, they're a team that can adapt, and we did see that a little bit in this series going into Game 2. They kind of figured it out, but then after that, the wheels fell off. So for Renegades here, it's about bouncing back after losing this Dignitas game.
Yeah, and it felt like for Dig, once kind of the gate started opening, it started flooding very, very quickly. The goals up on their half. Was there anybody that stood out for Dignitas, that you felt like was putting the rest of the squad in the back or anything here?
I saw Turbo do a lot of great solo plays, just making 2 players from Renegades miss, and then that space opens up, right, where now they have to do the long rotation back, and everyone's available for passing opportunities. But all 3 players saw the time that they had, and they all used it really, really well.
I think you're right. I think it was a good team effort here coming out from Dignitas. And that wasn't always the case here in the last league play from RLCS. So for all 3 players to be playing at their top, this is a good sign for Dignitas.
Yeah, especially when we opened today talking about how, bits and pieces were kind of falling apart for Dig as an entirety over the roster. Now finding ways maybe to glue it back together and make it a bit more cohesive here.
Yeah, but we see with these top 3 plays, we'll see a lot of time for Dignitas. Right there, that was one they probably wanted back, but the next few plays, it's just look at all of this space. Look at all of that time, and then they set up a 2-man pass and play, or actually a 3-man pass and play there, but again, so much space in that field.
Yeah, and Renegades, again, just with no boost, weren't able to react to a lot of the plays developing from Dignitas. You can see this ball thrown down the field, and there's no one to follow it up. And Dignitas immediately takes advantage. 2 back in net for Renegades. Nobody on the challenge. That's what leads to Dignitas' success here.
The commentators highlighted the breathing room given. We see it within a couple of the replays. And I got to ask you here, Violent Panda, what did you feel that kind of room up on the field there? Did you feel like you could do whatever you wanted out there?
I think we did. We had a little way more passing plays than they should have given us. But in general, yeah, I think they played well and we played well, and it turned out to be in our favor.
Yeah.
So now with that huge upset with Mouse Sports over Vitality, that puts you guys in the opposite group outside of Energy and Vitality. is this going to be an easy day 3 entry for you guys?
I mean, you could say that Vitality maybe played bad, but who knows? Mouse is insane, maybe. Yeah. We don't know, so let's see tomorrow.
And how do you feel about going forward? I mean, obviously, there's a couple more days here. Do you guys feel like the practice that you're going to get tonight and the practice that you got today is going to help you going forward?
I think it will. I think we'll be fine in general. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any overarching game plan coming up from you guys, or any maybe team goals that you have in mind when looking at the remainder not only of maybe today, but going into each day here at DreamHack Dallas?
You mean what kind of?
Rather than you going that, there's a certain approach that maybe you would like, or mini game that you go, we feel good, even if we don't walk away with a victory, we go, but this is what we wanted to do to feel like we were improving as a roster.
I don't know. I think we could have played way better than we did in RLCS. Everyone knew that. We showed at the first DreamHack that we could play way better. But I have a feeling we are indeed a LAN team and that we play better at LAN. I feel like sitting next to the other 2 guys than playing at home. So we'll see if it helps this time as well.
Well, you know what? Before we go to a commercial break, I have one last question here, and that is going to be, do you think that you guys got what it takes to win back-to-back DreamHacks here? Do you have it in you?
Yeah, we did it last time, so why not?
Nice. Confidence here being displayed by Violent Panda himself here. As I said, though, we are going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we got ourselves some more DreamHack Dallas.
place to go. Have no place to go. Goodbye, baby. Yes, I'm going. Yes, I'm going. Goodbye, baby. Yes, I'm going.
We just got our first glance there of the DreamHack champions within Team Dignitas. But what about the runner-up itself? Something that we will find out here in a minute. Welcome back to the DreamHack Dallas Pro Circuit here. I am your host, Wade Dreadnought Penfold. Up with me here at the desk, I've got myself a Gibbs, I got myself a Corelli. And guys, any remaining thoughts here about Dignitas and Renegades going head-to-head?
Man, Dignitas look pretty strong to go to maybe a potential day 3. They'll probably play Mouse Sports later on in day number 2. And that's a team that I want to see because obviously they took down this Vitality squad.
Yeah, look, you know what? Dignitas were able to play their game and see what happens. It's a warning to every other team here.
Yeah, it feels like Dignitas, and along with a lot of those big names that we know, anytime we say you aren't playing at their speed, you're giving them too much room, the answer is that they're going to walk away with a nice fatty W, and that's exactly what we got there from Team Dignitas.
Yeah, so now we're going to see Vitality, who is supposed to be the number 1 seed here. They weren't supposed to be shown on stream because we expected them to just stomp everybody, right?
Okay.
So we're not, like, they're not supposed to be here, but now they are.
So let's go ahead and, paint this here. If we expected them to maybe not show up on today's stream because of the results, what's the fork in the road that kind of came to light here over up on that B stream?
It was a mouse.
Mouse?
You're right. It wasn't a fork, it was a mouse.
That's true. It wasn't a fork, it was a mouse. It was very scary, but that's where we'll see Vitality versus Yo. We get Evil Geniuses later versus Uncharted, and that Rogue versus Pink Hair Fan Club, man. I want to see that game so bad. Prime Thunder versus his old team.
Yeah, a lot of really good matchups here, but the one we're about to focus on, Yo and Renault Vitality, like we said, Vitality just had to play Mouse, and they lost in Game 5. Kind of unprecedented here, because Mouse didn't really have a great season. Of course, they didn't do so hot in the promotion relegation tournament either. So now they come in and they beat Vitality.
Hey, man, it's DreamHack, right? That DreamHack magic.
Yeah.
This is what we want to see.
Anything can happen. It was something that we saw, at DreamHack Leipzig, and definitely expect to come to light here. But, looking at this match, we've been talking about Vitality, and understandably so. They are the terror of Europe as it currently stands. But what about Yo? This is a group of squad that, at least from my perspective, I know almost nothing about other than Roldiz, and that is only because of his recent performance. So, can you shed some light there, Corelli?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of a pickup team because we know that Roldiz is on Birds and Bees that just qualified for RLCS. He's just not jumping ship all of a sudden now that he's at DreamHack. But yeah, he's playing with Ajax and Austin, 2 players that have kind of been in that bubble scene. Ajax we've seen a couple times in the rival series on Manhattan. They've done okay throughout the rival series, but this is not a team to frown at. It's a team that they've kind of been in the grind trying to figure out who we're going to team with, who we're going to make it to rival series with, how do we make RLCS. Roldiz has just done that, and maybe his leadership can go a long way here.
I've got to ask, even though they might not be one to maybe scoff at and one that you can't count out, are they big enough to be able to take on the beast known as Renault Vitality? Because it's not like this isn't just like, we're finally testing them against our RLCS. This is a roster that is coming that we have almost nothing but praise to be able to say towards.
I mean, Vitality, they just lost to Mouse, and that was a thrown together team with speed. He's in the RLCS with 2 rival series players. Very similar to Yo, like maybe just outside rival series, but you have 1 RLCS player with 2 outsiders like in the rival series bubble. It could happen, man. We just have to see how Vitality plays. Like, I think it's all about double commits on Vitality. As long as they don't do that, these 3 players can beat anyone, but it obviously didn't work earlier.
Yeah, it's a little scary because Yo does have, they could probably have a huge upset here, and I agree that I think it really comes down to, do Vitality make mistakes, and can Yo capitalize? Because they're absolutely good enough to do so, but can they do it at the speed and quality that it demands playing a team like Vitality?
And so I want to go ahead and pose this, and you guys can let me know. It's just, when I look at Vitality and go, I'm going to go ahead and take them down, especially as an underdog roster as maybe we paint Yo here to be, how do you take that out? Because I feel like the first glance, your answer is immediately go, find a way to win the 1 versus 1, dish the ball somewhere else. But you're facing some of the most mechanically good at 1 versus 1s, 2 versus 2s. Their weakest element is 3 versus 3s. And so how do you take that down?
You don't play them in 1v1s, that is for sure. That is the one thing you do not want to do for Team Yo. You want to set up pass and plays and force double commits, right? Throw the ball into that open space where Vitality has 2 players around the area and try and force them both to go for it. You just need high pressure situations to force that to happen.
And I was talking to Ajax before the game, and he goes, if Vitality loses this game, we have to play him on stage. And I was like, hey, man, good luck. He was talking to me about it. There's Roldiz as well. Just made it into the RLCS as well on the North American side. And then on the far side there, Austin. Again, players that have been around the scene for quite a long time in the North American scene, but Roldiz is really the first one to kind of branch out into the RLCS.
And now it's their first time playing on a stage in front of a crowd. Sure, they have nothing to lose, right? They're playing Vitality, the team that's supposed to be the best in the world. And they came in second at DreamHack Leipzig. They're supposed to win this World Championship. Them versus Energy is what everyone wants to see. Well, if they win the series, they play them day 2 tomorrow, the first round game. But players like K-Dop and Fairy Peak, just so much experience. The 1v1 presence of Fairy Peak is insane. Like, that's why you don't want to go into 1v1s, because they have Fairy and Scrub Kill, right? 2 of the best 1v1 players to ever play this game.
And it's scary, you know, again, as Yo, to go up against a team like Vitality. And I think Vitality does come in with a lot of confidence here, knowing that they are touted as the best team here at DreamHack, and they can make an argument for the best team in the world as well. So the expectation is that Vitality wins. So far, though, with the loss to Mouse, you start to have some concerns. Is Vitality really going to show up? Can they be upset again by a pickup North American team?
But that's it, right? All the pressure is on Vitality right now. So this is actually probably great for them. Sure, they lost, and that's not what you want to see. But they got so much pressure to just exit day number 1. Day number 2 is not going to get any easier. This is a great World Championship experience, but that's if they win. They still need to win these series.
It's a great point for Yo, because if they lose this match, they're just a flash in the pan. Nobody's going to remember it. It's fine. Nobody expects them to win here. But if they beat Vitality, they go down as legends here at DreamHack Dallas.
Yeah, they absolutely would. I mean, there's so much pressure, as you guys have already painted, sitting on the side of Vitality. And, you know, Maus, though they are a very respectable roster, already find a way to get that upset. I got to go ahead and look at it and just ask, you know, how, with this roster and the struggles that they may potentially show in this series, I just wonder how are they going to be able to break that down and really rip apart the roster of Vitality? Because I'm just sitting here and I already painted it. The 1 versus 1s, they don't seem like it's the case. Then you tell me the other team, they need to have passing plays. I suddenly go, how much time does that take to be able to build up? I'm just really, I feel like I'm grasping at straws here, you know, for anything to find a way to believe in Yo.
You basically have to hope that your 50-50s go well. And again, that's not easy versus Vitality, but force the pressure, force 50-50s when they're on the defensive end, and you might get some balls that squeak out, and then maybe you have an early lead in game number 1. Vitality starts to feel that pressure. They try and do too much, and that's where you capitalize.
I think that if you've seen some of these players play, Ajax is a player who was on Manhattan, who played downfield a lot. I think if you can get him going and have the support of Roll Diz, we saw Birds and Bees this last weekend do so well with Roll Diz in that's second man role, supporting his team up front. If we can get Roll Diz and Ajax going downfield, I think that Yo has a great chance here. But Vitality have to make the mistakes. I firmly believe that Vitality, if they play their game, the perfect game of Rocket League, then there's just no chance for Yo here.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's more interesting considering the fact that though this is a very formidable roster, very few experiences together at a LAN outside of, you know, for instance, our last DreamHack there with Leipzig. But now it is the moment to figure out if they think they have what it takes here. Our predictions. Does Yo have enough to take down the monster of Europe?
So I may have a concussion, but I still cannot pick against Vitality. Vitality is just way too good. There is no way they go home on day number 1. We are expecting to see them in day number 3. Maybe we'll see them play Energy twice. We'll see them on day number 2 and day number 3. I have Vitality going.
Yeah, I also have Vitality. I think you're a bit silly to pick against them right now. And it's nothing against Yo. It's just that Vitality really shouldn't be here. And I think when you have a pickup team from North America, Vitality should beat any pickup team for North America.
Yeah, and to no surprise for everybody at home, I reside on the same side of that battlefield, especially with how, you know, little background we have sitting on the side of Yo. It's hard to look at every ounce of the roster of Vitality and just go, I think David and Goliath might be a little extreme, but it is very, very close to that kind of imagery being painted for this battle.
It comes down to that like Achilles heel, right? Like, can they find it? Like, can find Yo figure it out? They have to do it in a short 5-game series, but it's possible.
It is very, very possible here, but we're going to go ahead and bring in our commentary crew. Excuse me, actually, we're just going to throw it over to our commentary crew. Take it away here, Achieves and Turtle.
Thank you very much, Dreadnought. And actually, Turtle, I'll start you off with a question here. So this is sort of reminiscent of, you know, the ancient times in Rocket League when we would play the grassroots tournaments, and you would be the guy, because that's something you did. You know, you were on the grind, trying to come up through the community, get involved in that higher level of play. That's something a little bit similar to what we have here for Yo. So what was sort of your experience of, all right, I'm looking, let's take your Austin right out. I'm trying to break into the top, or, you know, Ajax, who's been up there before. You run into world-class Renault Vitality.
I mean, back in the day, in the ancient times, I feel like I'm reciting like an old poem right now, but You basically, I mean, you're excited. The only thing you can really gain to gather from this is just experience, especially coming in as the North American pickup team to go against probably debated, literally the #1 team right now in the world. They're just off a loss. Now is the chance for them to prove themselves as individual players.
Well, we're about to get into game number 1, so a chance to prove it. I mean, some good experience definitely on the board for Roldiz, as he will be participating in the RLCS next season. Ajax maybe making a few pushes later on for rival series, but Austin, a little bit of the odd guy out here, and we'll see how he performs. And really made a good point. Maybe you get, you know, Ajax and Roldiz going in that duo. Austin's going to be under pressure in that third-man role to really stop some of the strong clears that Vitality are inevitably going to bring at them. That is something that I will give a ton of credit to Vitality for. All season long, they always have strong clears coming off the walls.
I mean, Yo definitely has the individual skill and mechanics to pull something off like this. It just comes down to how they decide to utilize every single player. And if they're organized, being a pickup team, it's so easy just to throw everybody at the ball. But if they can stay organized and still be aggressive, it could be pretty close.
And the desk is right to say all the pressure belongs to Vitality. You saw something very similar at the end of day number 2 with Vitality versus Echo Zulu. It came down to that final game, and that was a one-goal game. So Vitality, they definitely showed that they can bleed, but currently with some pressure here, K-Dop with a little stop and go at the top of the box and easily stopped by Ajax. But you already know, Yo is coming into this one trying their hardest to take down Vitality, because you have, like they said on the desk, nothing to lose.
Right, and if you give Vitality space on the field, which Yo, if they're not aggressive or confident, it's bound to happen. If Vitality get any space, any single one of these players can pull off some incredible 1v1 mechanical skill and really just put it on display.
But throughout the first part of the game, we really haven't seen too much. Finally, a small double commit comes out from Yo, and that allows Vitality to get some more pressure going. Ajax had to pinch that off his own net. And K-Dop trying to get that second touch going, but long clear in from Scrubkilla, set up for both players. K-Dop lets that one go for Fairy Peak, but that'll mean the drive stalls out for Vitality. Scrubkilla sizing up that challenge cleanly through Roldiz. Ajax in charge of a tough clear, puts it on the board for Scrubkilla, and Roldiz takes that away off the back wall. Fairy Peak continuing this pressure for Vitality. But unfortunately, we haven't had as much success in breaking down this Yo squad as you would maybe expect.
They're definitely holding up. It seems like the defensive rotations are there. They're getting solid clears, and just the little patient touch that we just saw even there from Roldiz, the